of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, it's hard to match the enthusiasm I feel to do this show each and every day with you, my friend. Some days, you know, it's the headlines that carry me through.
Yeah?
And
Is today
do we
one
have
of
a
those
headline?
days? Is today a day like that?
Perhaps it is, Dom. First and foremost, let's set up the big show, and we'll save the salacious breaking news in the state of Wisconsin for just a minute from now. Dom, we're having Sarah Godlewski. She is a candidate for Wisconsin State Treasurer.
Wait, we need one of those?
And she's a Democrat. She wants the job.
Wow.
Also, Cathy Myers, candidate for Wisconsin's first congressional districts. New York Times just did an article on this race, and this is getting to be a little crazy. Of course, we've got Cathy Myers. She's a Dem. We've got Randy Bryce, Iron Stash. He's a Dem. We've got Paul Ryan, although not a declared candidate yet, one must think. Paul Ryan's running for re-election.
I don't know that.
And then we've got your crazy white supremacist buddy, Paul Nealon.
Paulie Nealon, yeah, really doubling down. Does he even have a Twitter feed anymore?
He was banned from Twitter for a bit, but I think he's back.
Oh, is he? I haven't seen.
Kind of playing the white supremacist angle.
Well, you know, that'll get you so many votes.
Well, apparently he's giving him satisfactory fundraising.
Well, he's got to be able to pay his wife somehow.
Campaigning for white supremacy, a full-time job for the family. Yeah. Dominic, let's talk about GOP family values.
You know, that's what they always say, of course, right? The Republicans are the party of values, and you know, they look down, I think, upon many of the progressives and liberals and Democrats as somehow inferior, that other people other than them may actually have some morals.
Morals. Interesting you would use that term, Dom. Here's the breaking news out of the state of Wisconsin. And let me just say, anytime there's anything nefarious politically, any sort of evil SOB out there in the world, take that evil SOB's name, and in this case, the evil SOB, Ben Sparks, and then Google Ben Sparks and Scott Walker, and an article just like this one will pop up on your screen. Former Wisconsin GOP spokesman accused of making ex-fiancé his sex slave.
I didn't read that part in the platform of the Wisconsin Republican Party.
Well, it was right in there behind the 50 Shades grayer.
Yeah.
This really does have a very 50 Shades of Grey sort of ring to it, Tom.
I was thinking more like Pulp Fiction, but go ahead.
That brings up an interesting point, but let's hold on to that one. The people are dying for the details. A Los Angeles GOP political operative, Las Vegas, my bad, GOP political operative who previously worked for the Republican Party of Wisconsin, is facing accusations that he sexually enslaved and battered his ex-fiancée. Now, Dom, let's clarify the point. Ben Sparks was the spokesman for the GOP of Wisconsin during the Scotty Walker recall.
He was all over the news.
You think they worked closely together in concert in coordinated campaigning sort of ways?
I absolutely do. He would have been right in the middle of it.
Anyways, back to the story. The woman provided copies of emails, text messages, and a signed contract laying out her duties as a slave in training.
I mean, this is something
to Benjamin Sparks.
This is really something. I mean, there are more details in the sex slave contract between the ex-fiancé and Sparks than Governor Walker had on the back of the napkin $4.5–3 billion deal with Foxconn. See where they put their priorities?
Interesting you should bring that up. The newspaper cited a Las Vegas police report saying that Sparks evaded police after a March 29th domestic dispute, adding that officers determined there was probable cause to arrest Sparks for domestic battery. Charges are pending, according to the report. Sparks could not be reached for interview Thursday. Now, this Mary Spokooza's interview and an article, Dom, or lack thereof interview. But let's go to the original source material, the Los Angeles paper. Now, I did reach out to this fine journalist, Ramona Glavar. I can't say her name.
Ramona.
A lot of consonants, Ramona. Perhaps you could buy a vowel. I'm going to start reading. The Las Vegas political advisor who worked on national campaigns, like Scott Walker's, and high-profile Nevada races, sexually enslaved and battered his ex-fiancée before police responded to a domestic dispute, the woman told the Review Journal. The 46-year-old woman provided copies of emails, text messages, and a signed contract laying out her duties as a slave in training to Benjamin Sparks. The Las Vegas police report shows that Sparks, who most recently worked on Republican Crescent Hardy's campaign to win back the 4th congressional district seat he held from 2015 to 17, evaded police. This guy's on the lam, Dominic. After the domestic dispute at the woman's home on March 29th, officers determined there is probable cause to arrest Sparks for domestic battery, and charges are pending. Now, Sparks was fired from Hardy's campaign, although just fine for Scott Walker's. Hardy did not return multiple phone calls for comment. Sparks, 35, also was working on the Republican Yvette Harrell's campaign for New Mexico's 2nd Congressional District. When reached by phone Tuesday, Harrell declined to comment on whether she would continue working with him. I'm not going to talk to you about the story at all, Harrell said. Let me have someone call you back.
Yeah.
The call was not returned. Now let's get into the meaty, juicy part of the topic, Dom.
Sparks' ex-fiancée, who was not being identified by the Review Journal because she is a victim, told the Review Journal that Sparks fled to Texas and left all of his belongings behind. Sparks did not return calls and emails seeking comment. Sparks was the political affairs director at Red Rock Strategies, a political consulting firm with offices in Las Vegas and D.C. He was fired from that position last week amid the investigation into the March 29th incident.
Now get to the Scott Walker part.
Here we go. Sparks previously served as a spokesman and high-level staffer on a number of national campaigns, including Mitt Romney's 2012 presidential campaign and the anti-recall campaign of Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker in 2012.
Like I said, all you got to do is Google any nefarious actor and Scott Walker's name, and an article like this will pop up.
Most of the time. According to email, documents, and text provided by obtained by the Review Journal, Sparks signed a 5-page contract stating that she would be his slave and property. Under the contract, the woman was forced to kneel and look down when she entered his presence, be nude at all time, have sexual relations with him whenever he wanted, and wear a collar in private. He was very demanding.
I really do think that paragraph is worthy of repeating. Please do so, Dom. I don't mean to make you be redundant, but I don't think everyone caught all the details.
It is quite a bit to swallow.
Of what's included in the 5-page contract. As Dom would remind you, when Scott Walker was running the recall, his job's plan was only 4 pages, like 2 pages if you took the graphs out.
One sheet of paper on both sides, so let's do it again for all the Republican family value types out there. According to emails, documents, and text messages obtained by the Review Journal, Sparks and his ex-fiancée signed a 5-page contract stating she would be his slave and property. Under the contract, the woman was forced to kneel and look down when she entered his presence, be nude at all times, have sexual relations with him whenever he wanted, and wear a collar in private. You know, if she has a collar on, she's not really nude, right? He was very demanding and did not take no for an answer, Sparks' ex-fiancée said. Over the last month, it escalated into very rough sex, where he'd actually hurt me. He backhanded me and forced himself on me. The relationship moved fast. The couple moved in together almost immediately after they met. According to the police report, they began dating November 2nd. Their contract is dated November 3rd.
Now, I've heard about some whirlwind romances, Tom.
No, this is Vegas. I mean, that's almost long-term relationship.
Vegas, baby. But, I mean, consider this. You meet someone on November 2nd, and apparently this Ben Sparks, this former Scott Walker guy, he's a bit of a freak. He likes it, what, Submissive. Slavey, yes. So within 24 hours of this new relationship, he drops a 5-page contract in front of her. And let's not forget, apparently, Dom, she signed it.
She apparently agreed. In the text messages sent a day before the March 29th altercation, he asked her to be bound and blindfolded and have sex with other men in front of him. She said the request was her breaking point. The couple argued on March 28th. Sparks took off, according to the report. They met in a Boulder City parking lot to talk things out, the report said, then returned home in separate vehicles. Later, the woman suspected Sparks was under the influence of drugs, and she tried to leave, according to the police report. Sparks wouldn't let her leave the house for 2 hours, the report said. He then called 911, claimed she tried to kill herself, which she denies. He also claimed that his ex-fiancée had battered him. Police arrived at the Las Vegas home, but Sparks had fled. The woman lost a fingernail and had a bruise on her left thumb. She did not show signs of being intoxicated or under the influence of narcotics, according to the police report.
So she's sober, but she suspected Ben Sparks, the family value Republican guy with the contract, that he was under the influence.
The report noted that she refused to complete a voluntary statement for police and that she did not attempt to call police despite having access to her phone during the 2-hour period that Sparks was alleged to have blocked her escape. In the wake of the Me Too movement that has revealed sexual harassment and misconduct by political, business, and media leaders, Sparks' ex-wife said she wants the public to know the truth about him.
I think it was just a fiancé. I don't think they got around to getting married.
I truly don't want this to happen to another woman.
Now, do you think this crazy couple will work things out?
It seems like a bad relationship. I think that's one that maybe she should not be in.
I thought the best relationships always had clearly expressed boundaries.
There was an expressed boundary.
Good contracts make good lovers.
I'm not clear. Well, hell, what is it with Republicans and their contracts or their non-disclosures? I mean, Trump, he's got lots of contracts out there.
I heard he had a different freak, though. More of a golden showers guy.
Scott Walker's spokesman had a sex slave. I wonder, this is probably not behavior you just learned recently.
Do you think that Scott Walker is Tonette submissive?
Yeah.
Here would be an appropriate time to say, bring out the Gim.
Oh, the Republicans, they're evil, Crudy. They're evil. And they may have some competition.
Come back with us. We are the Devil's Advocates. It's so great of the Republicans to give us something to talk about each and every day.
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward. It's the right way to clean.
Hey folks, sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison. Many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
Hello, I'm Tom Bennett, President of Teamsters Local 200. In 1903, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters was founded, and our local union was founded in 1935 here in Milwaukee. During the last 115 years, the principles and values for the Teamsters Union have made many improvements for working families, creating a pathway to the American middle class. Teamsters have assisted families and communities in times of need. Currently, our active and retired membership are collectively working to benefit working families across this nation for retirement security and addressing long-term social needs here in Madison, Wisconsin, and in Washington, D.C. American workers do have a voice in the workplace. Let Teamsters Local 200 be part of that action plan for you. For more information, please visit us on Facebook at Teamsters Local 200 or visit our website at www.teamsterslocal200.com or give us a call at 414-771-6363. TeamstersLocal200.com or 414-771-6363.
Wisconsin Republican Attorney General Brad Schimmel claims he will further investigate the investigators of the John Doe 2 investigation because it was all a partisan witch hunt. Wisconsin State Rep Chris Taylor said this.
There is absolutely no concern expressed by this Attorney General or these Republican legislators about the underlying criminal conduct that this corruption investigation revealed. Scott Walker was breaking laws.
And Brad Schimmel fails to acknowledge the 6 criminal convictions, 4 felonies in the Scott Walker John Doe 1. Was that also a partisan witch hunt?
One newspaper has done a good job. It's a national paper, the Wall Street Journal.
And AG Schimmel filed an embarrassing hack partisan bull report where he's still looking for the leaker. Get a clue! Wasn't it Eric O'Keefe from Wisconsin Club for Growth?
Well, I was born to do this.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
We got Mark Pocan live via phone. Mark, does Paul Ryan hate poor people?
Oh, he hates poor people and middle-class people. I mean, I think when he was probably 5 years old playing with Play-Doh, trying to, adjust the taxes on Play-Doh. And so, to be fair, I think he's doing what he always said he was going to do. It's just no one actually believed he was either that cruel, evil, or dumb to do it.
The Devil's Advocates, weekday afternoons on 1510 a.m. Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
We are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, also streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. We're on Twitter at Devil Radio, and the call/text line, the party line, 844-967-2789.
So, Dominic, we've started the show by talking about Ben Sparks, former spokesman of the Wisconsin GOP, during the Walker recall. He is on the lam. He's apparently been keeping a sex slave in Vegas. Met her on November 2nd, had her sign a 5-page contract, signing away her personal freedom. Aren't Republicans all about freedom?
Well, but they're also about
their freedom
and personal property rights. I mean, that's a hell of a thing. If she becomes his property, yet she has no freedom. Of course, that's why a contract like that could never be legally enforced. I'm just wondering, Ben
Are
Sparks,
you sure it couldn't be legally enforced? I bet you Trump would try.
Why, Ben Sparks, why wouldn't you just do the right and honorable thing and marry her? Why is this your fiance? I'm just wondering, it is Vegas. You could go down the street and make that happen.
Well, you could get a ring at a pawn shop, too, which maybe keeps her around for the freak show, but, perhaps she doesn't want to marry young Ben Sparks. And also, someone noted on the text line, 844-967-2789, this Ben Sparks apparently taken after his old boss. A winter-spring romance.
Yes, Ben
young
Sparks.
Ben is 35. His submissive sex slave, apparently a lady of 46, much like Scott Walker and his romantic interest, Tonette.
A similar age difference?
Except I always suspected that Walker was the submissive.
That Walker's the one wearing the collar? I mean, it's hard to say in Republican value relationships these days who actually wears the collar. I mean, if it's not written down, do you just take turns?
Doesn't this remind you of a romance novel, though? I mean,
a bad romance novel?
Buddy, you have sort of this image. I look at you and I think of Fabio.
Come on.
You could be on a romance novel cover. Perhaps a short story. You know what I'm saying?
Bastard.
But you've always had that look. You've always had that bad boy look.
Okay.
So let me ask you.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever had a contract for a submissive?
I have not. No, that's never been one of my things. I'm not into that. but people are apparently. And in Vegas, man, it's a freak show out there. This is all about, this is Republican family values. Let's not forget who this is. This is a guy who was standing up there and defending the Wisconsin GOP and Governor Scott Walker during the 2012 recalls. And I have to ask, did you have any sex slaves then? Because we'd sure like to interview them.
Yes. Also, this Las Vegas newspaper that reports this, the Las Vegas Review-Journal, this is a Sheldon Adelson property. I thought Sheldon used to like Scott Walker after his big recall victory and, of course, his re-election in 2014. Sheldon Adelson, one of the funders, the early funders of the Scott Walker for president, the presidential campaign in waiting at least, gave money to the super PAC, did he not?
Yeah, he's a big supporter. Scott Walker went out there and begged for money, I believe, more than once.
And apparently sold, the Menominee Indian tribe down the river, would not allow them to give us $250 million.
Not them, and sold the citizens of Milwaukee County and Wisconsin down the river by making the state have to come up with financing plans for that arena.
Well, I always suspected it wasn't about the 400 Christian conservatives in Iowa that wrote Scott Walker a letter. It was about the guy in Vegas, Sheldon Adelson, writing Scott Walker the check. We are the devil's advocates. Your check's welcome here.
Yeah.
And Dominic,
and cash. Don't forget cash.
Dominic, I should have known that you've never extended a contract. Being a bottom, you're more of a contract signer.
Come on, man. Are you offering, Crudy?
You wouldn't honor the contract anyways. And nobody wants to see you naked. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. Join us on the phones. This is what politics have devolved to. 844-967-2789.
US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hi, everybody. Did you know that Scott Walker spelled backwards is Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network? I know, I was amazed too.
If you're like a lot of companies, you know you need IT, but you aren't sure where to start. That's where Five Nines comes in. Hi, I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO. For almost 15 years, Five Nines has been providing IT solutions to companies just like yours. We'll show you the solutions that are right for your business and give you the roadmap to success in the future. Find us at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Do you love public education? Do you want to support your schools? Then you should support the people who make them work. You should support teachers and their unions. Teachers' working conditions are students' learning conditions, and when the school bell rings, it is crucial that teachers do not check their rights at the door. The ability to organize and advocate around issues that improve the quality of a teacher's workplace will increase opportunities for students and make schools safer for everyone. Stand with teachers, stand with WEAC Region 7.
In this hot real estate market, don't pay 5 or 6% commission. With Homeowners Concept Realtors, you pay no more than 3.9% for full service. Homeowners Homeowners Concept Realtors sell many more homes per year than the average agent. That's experience you can count on. If you're thinking of selling, call 414-258-7778 for an agent that specializes in your area for ideas on price, marketing, and staging your home. The more you know, you'll wisely choose Homeowners Concept 3.9% Realtors. HomeownersConcept.com.
The Devil's Advocates.
My Congresswoman Gwen Moore.
I think that you guys are filling a very important space. I think African Americans consume radio at a very high rate, and they really rely on radio for information. And so, word of warning to all those candidates out there, don't ignore these inexpensive ways to advertise.
Well, wait until we get our FM. They're going to get more expensive all the time.
Radio for the 99%.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. Summerfest has announced the headliners for the ground stages this summer. Among them are Boz Scaggs, Edgar Winter, Nick Lowe, Wishbone Ash, Trampled by Turtles, and the Yonder Mountain String Band. After spending over 30 years at City Hall, Mayor Barrett's longtime Chief of Staff, Patrick Curley, has announced that he is retiring. And the Cardinals shut out the Brewers last night 6-0. The Cubs now come to town for a big 4-game weekend series at Miller Park. Outside today, increasing clouds, then mostly cloudy tonight, lows in the upper 20s. Mostly cloudy and windy tomorrow, highs in the low 30s. Saturday, mostly sunny with highs again in the low 30s. I'm Stu Daniels for Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
The big and tall of political talk. Dom and Krutz are the Devil's Advocates.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Right here, we'll give you all the family values you need.
Hey, they're not our family values. They're Republican family values.
You know, I hate to characterize an entire party of people, but perhaps they are evil, Don.
Well, one could say that. I mean, they have governed in not a very good way.
Is evil too harsh a word? Should I just call them all kinky freaks?
No, that's might be a compliment for some.
And insult the kinky freaks
right
everywhere.
there. I mean, there's kinky freaks, and if you want to be kinky freaky with other kinky freaky people consensually, hell, that's what it's all about. But if you're going to be a little freak show and then get a little violent against the person's wishes, well, perhaps that's a problem. And then you're going to go on the lam, Republicans? You're going to run away?
Aren't they the law and order party?
Aren't they the responsibility party? Take responsibility for your actions.
So, homosexuals are not supposed to get married, not supposed to have consensual sex. But apparently Republicans can have contractually obligated non-monogamous relationships
with a sex slave.
With a sex slave.
And of course, you know, in many Republicans' eyes, probably the biggest sin is the fact that he didn't marry her.
I was going to say they didn't get away with it. Like his old boss. Let's not forget, Scott Walker was breaking laws. This guy worked for the Republican Party of Wisconsin, was the spokesman, talking about Ben Sparks, accused sex slave holder, and currently fugitive from the law, former Scott Walker employee, back in the recall time frame.
Wouldn't be the first Scott Walker employee to get arrested and do some time. And John Doe 1, did any of those folks do time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there were some convictions.
Yeah. I mean,
felonious convictions.
You know, it's not just the evil of this particular man with the assault and battery and the charges that should be brought. Apparently, there's evidence for charges to be brought against Ben Sparks, but it's also, you know, lying and cheating. And let's not forget, John Doe 1, Governor Scott Walker was lying. He had employees campaigning on county time.
And that's before we even get to the allegations of the John Doe 2 that he was clearly guilty of. You know, while this kid, this Ben Sparks, the kinky, perverted sex slave holder. Master.
You know, but when I walk in the room, Crudy, you should look down.
I have to. If I want to look you in the eyes, I'm always looking down. Boom, got you, man. Yeah.
844-967-2789.
How is it possible we script 3 hours of joy every day?
It's all preparation.
All the prep, yes. Should we get to the phones?
Oh, let's do that. We got some fun coming up.
Wait.
What?
Some more mischievous freakery coming up.
844-967-2789. Ignacio, you are first. Happy days, man. What do you got for us today?
Hey guys, how you doing? At least I don't got I'm not driving down the road in a noisy van. Listen,
yeah, you sound good today, man.
Hey Ignacio, do you have a gimp living in the basement?
I think that's a yes.
No.
Oh, all right.
You really think of that as more of an Airbnb relationship?
Hey, listen, 2 points about our president. One, we listened to Mr. Scaramucci, the guy that was his communication dude, over here in L.A. for about an hour, and him and his wife. And one of the things that he pointed out was the president says ridiculous things, outlandish things that are inaccurate and non-factual because he's trying to get the sentiment of the what he's saying. In other words, he's saying stuff that has no meaning, no nothing, but to us, but to him it means something. Like he talks about like all the illegals, they're always coming and breaking laws. And then it brings me to my second point, which is this. There's a lady that has like, I don't know how many DUI convictions. They arrested her the other day in Minnesota. And she had like a Crown Royal bottle in the passenger seat. She was obviously intoxicated. She's totally white. Not only is she white, she's like ginger white. Okay? And you never hear the president talk about those people. But if she would have been an illegal alien, oh my God, it would have been on the Twitter this morning, at 3 a.m. It's so hypocritical.
I don't know how to break this to you, but we've got like albino white people all over Wisconsin getting like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th DWI. It's not even a criminal offense to start in the state of Wisconsin. They give you a simple traffic ticket. We got white drunks all around us.
Well, somebody ought to inform the president that, it ain't only Mexicans or Latinos that are driving around drunk, and running over people. The thing is that you can't be a racist, really, to be president. I mean, you shouldn't be racist. Let's put it that way. Not that you can't. You shouldn't. It just amazes me that he always points this out. Like I was listening to him in his thing in West Virginia, and he was talking about all these people coming up, and that's why I have to send the military to the border and all this stuff. Without him realizing what he is doing, he is alienating the United States even more than we've already done to ourselves. China is going to come against us not with $25 billion or $50 billion, but they trumped it up to $60 billion in products. And also what they said is they're going to target the states that voted for him. You guys voted for President Trump. So when the tariffs start coming in, it's going to affect Wisconsin extremely badly. And I feel for you guys. I really do. Because you guys have no idea what you're in for.
Oh, sorry about that. Thank you for the
trade
call,
war.
Ignacio.
It sounds like we might be in for.
Well, it's not a war. It's just a skirmish at this point. Thank you, Ignacio. Certainly the ginseng producers here in Wisconsin, perhaps some of the pork producers. I don't know. Maybe some car producers may have some issues.
When Ignacio was mentioning the ginger in Minnesota with the Crown Royal as her co-pilot, I was thinking to myself, I hope that's not my sister-in-law.
844-967-2789. Mark, you are up. Thanks for calling, man. What do you got for us today?
You're talking about that. It was Shades of Grey. I was thinking Shades of Gore. I don't know if you're familiar with. I posted out there with John Norman's series about Gore. That was kind of an adventure series set on a counter-Earth and where slavery was, encouraged and women were treated as slaves and they were collared in the whole 9 yards. And it just got to be. I read the first few books and it was just too much. I mean, it just wasn't even entertaining.
But that's what happens when people like Ben Sparks take over the Republican Party. I mean, that's the direction we're going for family values, Mark.
Well, they're letting their freak flag fly, but they condemn they condemn people. Gay people want to be in monogamous relationships with one another and probably having pretty vanilla sex, and this guy is I don't know. I mean, it doesn't even seem appealing. I mean that, but
Well, hey,
What do
Mark,
I know?
I mean, don't knock it till you try it. I mean, who are we to judge? But certainly the abuse, as soon as someone says no, as soon as abuse happens, that becomes the issue. But, it is a touchy thing. There's a lot of freaks out there. A lot of people get off in lots of different ways. And as long as people are consenting, why do we care? I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
And the reason we care in this case is that this is one of the guys that wants to keep other people from enjoying themselves. I mean, whether that and
they'd litigate what we do in our bedroom, but exempt themselves from those laws or rules, Mark.
I
would take it a step further, Mark. I mean, this guy, Ben Sparks, I think he actually gets off on this kind of thing. That's why he has a sex slave. I mean, this is more than a philosophical position.
It's a power.
Yeah, of course.
It's all about power.
No, it's they want to have power. They want to have power over people's lives, and and that's just the way they are. I mean, that's the way they're that's. I don't know what makes somebody like that. I don't know. I mean I thought we got rid of that, in 1865, and the whole for slavery actually being legal. But these guys would go back to it if they could. I mean, they complain about what the pizza place in Washington. I mean, these guys probably actually have pizza places who are doing that. Yeah, Pizzagate. Yeah,
where they're
the
trafficking and white slavery for Democratic Party gratification. They believe that on the right, Mark. I think primarily because they've got friends that do that kind of freaky stuff.
I just don't get it. I mean, I'm kind of just stuttering now because it just maybe Cambridge Analytica got him out of the country.
Thanks for the call, Mark. Always appreciate your take. I mean, I don't know. It kind of feels like Republicans would love this. When they walk into the room, the rest of us citizens, we got to look down. And what do I mean by that? Well, you can't have elections. You have enough representation already. They want us to have a collar on in private. Because why? Because when they pull that cord, they want us under control. And, of course, to be nude at all times, well, hell, that's just Republicans' family values.
What do you think Scott Walker's browser history looks like? Delete. More Devil's Advocates when we come back. Your phone calls are welcome. But we're going to talk about the true evil of the Republican Party. Donald Trump's fired another one. And we'll share with you, our fair audience, the good people, perhaps the freaky people, but the good freaky people.
Hell yeah.
What that means on the other side. Come back with us. Phone line, toll or text, 844-967-2789. I think that means toll free, but I forget.
I'm afraid right now for the future of my children's generation and those to come.
In this age of mass school shootings, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker offers the same bold agenda of the National Rifle Association.
Make sure you remember in your thoughts and more importantly in your prayers.
While Walker offers platitudes, he blocks meaningful gun safety legislation.
It's really an honor to work with the NRA not only in my state but across the country. And I'm proud of my A+ ranking as a governor.
Walker weakened the gun laws in Wisconsin, and then he got $3.5 million worth of NRA support.
There have been men and women of courage who've been willing to stand up and think more about the future of their children and their grandchildren than they thought about their own futures.
Scott Walker, you are not one of them. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org. I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I'm not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more. It's a no-brainer. I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Dom and Crude special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
Tune in to The Resistance, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Start your weekday off with the Earl Ingram Show from 7 to 9 a.m. Next is the Stephanie Miller Show from 9 to 11. Then from 11 to 2, it's the Tom Hartman Program. At 2 o'clock, it's 414 Wisconsin. Then from 3 to 6, it's the Devil's Advocates. Mandatory listening. Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Hi, Resistance Radio listeners. This is Kim Schrader, the president of the Milwaukee Teachers Education Association. We are the 4,600 educators who make Milwaukee's public education system possible. MTA members are the guardians of public education because every single day we are fighting to strengthen and protect public schools our students deserve. MTA educators are leading the fight in Milwaukee public schools for smaller class sizes, more recess, physical education, art, and music opportunities for every child in MPS. MTA educators are the champions for healthier school meals, positive discipline practices, equitable schools, and schools that partner with parents. MTA members are the guardians of public education, and we are proud to teach all children, regardless of their zip code. To learn more, follow us on Facebook at the Milwaukee Teachers Education Association.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only ordering classic corner tavern.
You made a fool of me, but them broken dreams have got to end.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, also streaming on YouTube and Facebook, on Twitter at Devil Radio, and the call text line 844-967-2789.
Dominic, this is not all the fun we're going to have with the evil Republicans in the state of Wisconsin. Now, Dale Coenga, a friend of ours, not evil per se.
Evil-ish.
But he did a dastardly thing, and he had to face the music last night at a town hall. People wanting to know, Coenga, why did you steal the protester sign?
And more importantly, why do the taxpayers of this great state of Wisconsin have to go to pocket for $30,000 to cover your ass?
Well, his original excuse was family values, right? It was profane.
Yeah.
But his new take, it's his military intelligence experience.
It's my training.
Something just wasn't right there, Tom.
Yeah.
You know, I was in the military, and I'd like to think I have a little intelligence, but this defense seems quite implausible. But we're going to share that with you in the 4 o'clock hour. Dom, we mentioned it. Donald Trump, the president of the United States.
Here we go again.
New polling out today, least popular he's ever been.
Ever?
As long
president.
as he's been president. Up until then, it really didn't matter much.
So much winning.
According to Morning Consult, over the course of the month of March, Donald Trump fell to 41% approve, 54% disapprove. That is his high water mark for disapproval is low water mark for approval.
Oh, really?
And do you know how many voters, according to the morning consult
okay.
poll,
They're,
do you know how many voters they polled over the month?
Huh.
900,000.
Ooh.
Maybe it was 100,000. I'll have to verify.
A big number.
It was an extremely big number.
That's a big sample, certainly.
Higher than I could count readily. I'll check the number.
844-967-2789. Well, as we know, this administration seems to have a revolving door.
I think it was 1 million, Dom.
Is that what it was?
I'll keep looking.
All right. So, in the meantime, we should bring you some sound. Who's this? Jimmy Fallon?
Jimmy Fallon last night had the new Trump administration official recently fired on to react in real time. You know, so many of these official Doms, they get fired like Shulkin. Well, was it a resignation? Did they fire him? You know, so many questions.
So many questions. Let's hear the sound. Keith, we're going to need your help on this. Let's roll.
Hold on. 100,000 voters.
100,000.
97,000 voters. That's almost 1 million.
Almost. All right, let's do it, Keith. Here we go. Jimmy Fallon last night.
President Trump and all the turnover in his administration. It seems like every week someone new loses their job. And believe it or not, another person was just fired by Trump moments ago. This literally just happened. And we're lucky enough to get an exclusive interview with them right now. Hello? Are you there? Dr. Evil?
No, it's Adam Levine. Of course it's Dr. Evil, numbnuts.
I gotta say, I had no idea that you were part of the Trump administration. What exactly did you do there?
Well, naturally, I was going to be Secretary of Evil. But Steve Bannon got that job.
Right. Well, what did you end up doing?
Well, I was more of an ideas guy, really.
What kind of ideas?
The wall, that was all me. But I wanted it to be a moat filled with spiky blowfish. And I didn't want the Mexicans to pay for it. I wanted Alec Baldwin to pay for it.
Okay, well, what about Trump's army in space?
You mean the Space Force?
Was that you?
All the most evil stuff was me.
Even deporting dreamers?
No, Jimmy, even I have my limits. I'm evil, but I'm not a monster.
That's good to know. Well, did you at least make any friends at the job?
Well, I got along swimmingly with Ben Carson.
And why is that?
We were both evil doctors and didn't know why we were there. Oh, and you remember when he spent $30,000 of taxpayer money on an office chair? Yeah, I thought that was particularly evil. You could have just gone to Wayfair. They've got what you need. It's the feeling of done and so much fun. Bum, 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 bum.
Those ads are so annoying.
What about Don Jr.?
Don Jr., well, that guy's creepy AF. Yeah. He looks like he's missing a facial feature. You just don't know which one.
Did you see much of Jared Kushner?
That bitch be gone. Yeah.
So what are your plans now that you're out of the White House?
Well, I'm going to spend some more time being evil to my family. And, of course, I'll be promoting my tell-all book, Fire and Fury, and also Evil, and more fire, and also magma.
That sounds a little too wordy.
All right, then, how about show?
All right, yeah.
I'd also like to announce my candidacy for president.
Wait a second. You're running for president?
Yeah, that's right. I've even got my own merch. Make the world evil again.
Yeah, I can read that.
Plus, I found the perfect running mate, the only man who's more hated right now than Donald Trump. Evil Zuckerberg 2020. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Hey, America, get ready to be poked. Come on, Jimmy, evil laugh with me. Come on. Yeah, okay. Gotta go.
Dr. Evil, everybody. Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil. He's running for president.
That's fantastic.
He's left the Trump administration. Perhaps not evil enough.
Not even, certainly not. Trump needs someone way more evil than Dr. Evil.
Well, Dom, we're off to a good start, are we not?
Yeah.
Every day, the greatest radio show ever.
I mean, I didn't know we were going to be talking about sex slaves today.
Dominance and submissiveness, contractual law, and hell.
Republican family values.
Dominic, we're going to introduce our audience to a Democrat. She wants the job of state treasurer. Apparently, even wants to, perform the duties thereof?
What?
We'll introduce you to Sarah Godlewski. She is a candidate for Wisconsin treasurer. She's launching her campaign right here on the Devil's Advocates radio show. Hour 2, it's going to be another good one. Come back with us. You can always join us on the phones, 844-967-2789.
Let this be a reminder to you all that this organization will not tolerate failure. You know, I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call the number on a for sale sign?
Great questions. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you a home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust. Your agent will best find the home that fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from offer through closing day. And most home listing contracts stipulate that the seller's agent pays for the buyer's commission.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty, 608-284-9311, or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
Promises made. Have you paid into a pension plan or are currently paying into a pension? Join the Wisconsin Committee to Protect Pensions Saturday, April 21st for an update from Washington, D.C. and the first Special Select Committee. The meeting is at the American Legion Post at 3245 North 124th Street in Brookfield, Wisconsin at 10 a.m. A promise is a promise is a promise. This is an issue that affects everyone. Active workers, retirees, spouses, and veterans are encouraged to attend Saturday, April 21st at the American Legion Post at 3245 North 124th Street in Brookfield at 10 a.m. Meetings are also taking place in Sheboygan, Endeavor, Wausau, and Green Bay. Go to the Wisconsin-Milwaukee Southeast Committee to Protect Pensions Facebook page to learn more. Join us Saturday, April 21st, 10 a.m., the American Legion Post in Brookfield. It's not their money, it's yours.
We were wrong. They stole our pensions.
You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Trump off script, California quake. I'm Michael Toscano. President Trump playfully tossed away his prepared remarks in West Virginia this afternoon, turning what was supposed to be a roundtable on tax policy into a replay of some of his favorite lines. Talking about the caravan of immigrants moving north through Mexico, there was this.
This journey coming up, women are raped at levels that nobody's ever seen before.
They don't want to mention that.
And there was his evidence-free claim that there is voter fraud involving millions.
California, the same person votes many times. You probably heard about that. They always like to say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Not a conspiracy theory, folks. Millions and millions of people.
Speaking on Air Force One on the way home just moments ago, the president said he wants between 2,000 to 4,000 National Guard troops at the U.S. border with Mexico and is looking at what that will cost. Back in Washington, the new chief White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow is trying to play down the idea that tariffs are being imposed on imports.
We don't have any tariffs enacted yet. These are proposals, and they're part of the discussion and negotiation. Senator Ernst is a key player. I respect it. She's probably raising good points. At the moment, let's see how it plays out.
A magnitude 5.3 earthquake hit off the Ventura County coast in Southern California near Los Angeles this afternoon. Our Jim Roop is there, and he doesn't seem too shaken up.
It's been described as a quick jolt by some on the west side of L.A. to a 10-second or so roll by some or rocking back and forth by others farther inland. With an earthquake this size off the coast, no damage is expected to be found.
Henrik Stenson and Adam Hadwin tied at the top of the leaderboard after 18 holes on the first day of the Masters at Augusta National, both 3 under par. Tiger Woods off to a rocky start in his return to the Masters, as John Stolness tells us.
Tiger shot a 1 over par 73 in his first round at Augusta in 1,089 days. He's traditionally done well at the par 5 holes at Augusta, but wasn't able to take advantage of them in this first round.
Woods mired down in a 14-way tie at 28th. I'm Michael Tusk.
In this hot real estate market, don't pay 5 or 6% commission. With Homeowners Concept Realtors, you pay no more than 3.9% for full service. Homeowners Concept Realtors sell many more homes per year than the average agent. That's experience you can count on. If you're thinking of selling, call 414-258-7778 for an agent that specializes in your area for ideas on price, marketing, and staging your home. The more you know, you'll wisely choose Homeowners Concept 3.9% Realtors. HomeownersConcept.com.
It's a lot easier to measure how many times students use a semicolon correctly in an essay.
Educated educators talking education.
Than it is to measure how many wonderful ideas are in that essay.
Busted Pencils.
There is no teacher shortage.
With Dr. Tim Slecker.
There is a teacher exit.
Featuring Matt Damon's mom.
You want to know what my mom would say?
We've had an intrusion into education.
Busted Pencils Radio. Saturdays at 11 on Resistance Radio.
2017 was a pretty bad year for hurricanes in the U.S., with 3 major blasts causing death and destruction. So what's the outlook for this year? Let's find out from Jan Johnson.
Michael, the Atlantic hurricane season lasts from June through November, and Colorado State University has just issued its preliminary seasonal forecast.
So how bad is it?
They expect a slightly above average season with 14 named storms. 7 of those are expected to become hurricanes, and 3 are expected to be major hurricanes. CSU predicts a 63% probability of at least one major storm making landfall on the continental United States, and that's above the average of 52%.
So when should we be prepared for the worst?
Well, the majority of storms occur between mid-August and mid-October. Colorado State will update its outlook on May 31st, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration will provide its hurricane outlook in May.
I'm Michael Toscano.
I'm Andy Buck, and I'm proud to be union.
Tell me about the underground economy.
Well, the underground economy is essentially workers being exploited, and they're being exploited all over the state. They're working for no benefits, no retirement, and if you don't join your brothers and sisters, you don't respect your craft.
Andy, why should I hire union?
Crudy, you should hire union because you want the job done right the first time. We represent the highest skilled, safety-trained workers in the industries that we represent. Glazers, painters, and drywall finishers. Join us. Painters and Allied Trades, District Council 7.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. About 550 gallons of a toxic pollutant have leaked from submerged cables in the Straits of Mackinac between Lake Huron and Lake Michigan. Summerfest has announced the headliners for the ground stages this summer. Among them are the Soul Rebels, Lissy, Kaleo, Johnny Lang, Greta Van Fleet, and James Hunter. And one of the big reasons Judge Dallett won the Supreme Court race on Tuesday was the high turnout and lopsided results in Dane County, where the turnout was 50% higher than the state average, and Dallett defeated her opponent 81% to 19%. Outside today, increasing clouds, then mostly cloudy tonight, lows in the upper 20s. Mostly cloudy and windy tomorrow, highs in the low 30s. Saturday, mostly sunny with highs again in the low 30s. I'm Stu Daniels for Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Devil's Advocates radio show. Dominic, we're joined right now live via phone by a candidate for Wisconsin State Treasurer, someone who actually wants the job. Her name, Sarah Godlewski, and Sarah, God willing, that's something close to you, the pronunciation of your name.
Yeah, you guys did it well, believe it or not.
All
Usually
right.
I have to kind of spell it out, so thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Sarah.
Sarah, here's my prediction. By the end of this interview, you will be the front runner in the state treasurer's race. Sarah, as of right now, apparently you are the only candidate the Republican placeholder dropped out yesterday.
Yes, I heard that news yesterday that it was almost like as soon as the office was for sure going to be continued in our state constitution, he just dropped out.
Seems quite strange. Sarah, why would you want this job?
Well, so I'll be honest. I have been looking at this quite closely over the last couple of months, leading the whole initiative to vote no, which it was a resounding 61% on Tuesday. And look, honestly, Mike and Dom, it's quite clear that for the last couple of years, this office has been neglected for Wisconsin. I mean, the two most important roles of this office, one is to be a fiscal watchdog. I mean, literally to review financial transactions by government officials. I mean, we all want to know what the government's spending our money on. And then the second thing is it's a major trustee to a $1.2 billion trust fund, which provides money for public schools, and it also loans money to local government.
Sarah, I'm not at all clear that the Republicans in charge want the watchdog, A, and B, they seemingly take the attitude that government is broken, and if it's not broken, we're going to break it. Adamchuk, the current placeholder in the treasurer's office, I mean, this guy ran essentially saying, fire me. Well, I think he should resign. You know, the people effectively said, we think the job should be held by someone, but probably not Adamchuk. Do you expect he will run for this office that he apparently does not even want to hold?
Well, I mean, I think you're going to have to ask him on that, but my perspective is he never did anything. I mean, I think the question is, I don't even know if he went to work, honestly.
I know.
So I don't know why we would hire somebody who didn't do their job.
Well, Sarah, other than being a hack staffer for Leah Vukmer, I'm not exactly sure what qualified him for the job. Sarah, what qualifications would you bring to the job?
No, that's a good question. I mean, I've spent a lot of my career helping to improve performance of government agencies and kind of companies. So looking at how we can make them better, what are they spending their money on. So I did kind of this consulting world for over 10 years. In fact, some of my work with the Department of Defense saved taxpayers tens of millions of dollars. And then after that, I started a local investment venture. So we invest in socially responsible startups. So companies that are making a difference, like renewable energy or agriculture, and help them by giving access to capital and then providing them, advisory services, because a lot of time these entrepreneurs have great ideas, but they A, can't get money to do it. The banks won't lend to them. And B, they're like an engineer by trade, so they don't have the business acumen or the financial expertise to really get their business off the ground. So we do that through our investment venture.
Folks, you're listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. We are speaking with Sarah Godlewski. She is the candidate for Wisconsin State Treasurer. Sarah, it sounds like you have a little bit of a financial background here. That seems refreshing. Let me get your opinion. When Governor Walker first ran for governor in the state of Wisconsin, he promised that we would switch over our accounting systems to GAAP accounting. Wanted to get your take on that. Should we run the state on GAAP accounting? What's your position?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think that we definitely need to look at how we are doing our accounting currently, because we're one of the only states that actually does not have kind of best practices when it comes to accounting. And so if you're one of the only states to not have best practices when it comes to accounting, I think that's definitely something that needs to be looked at for sure.
Sarah, do you think that, because this is an elected position, you wouldn't be appointed, and if Governor Walker were to win, you would have to be working across the aisle with Republicans. How do you think the Republicans have been fiscally over the last couple of terms of Governor Walker's governorship?
Well, I'll be honest. I think it's crazy that the Republicans would advocate to remove this position. Think about it. Every organization has a treasurer, whether it's the Girl Scouts to your nonprofit, and every company has a chief financial officer or an auditor that they hire. And so the Republicans were advocating to get rid of that. That's crazy to me. If, one of the things that I would love to do as state treasurer is actually create a taxpayer's annual report. Heaven forbid we know what our money is being spent on. The companies that I work with or the nonprofits that I serve on their boards, we get our annual report every year that says exactly what our money went to and why. So I think Wisconsinites deserve the same thing.
Sarah Godlewski, candidate for Wisconsin State Treasurer, joins us live via phone. We appreciate you doing so, Sarah. Sarah, tell us a little more about yourself. What was the last book you read?
Oh, my gosh. That's actually a really, really good question.
Just don't give me the Sarah Palin, I read them all.
No, you're going to laugh at me. The last book I read was Angel, and it's actually about angel investing. I'm kind of a dork. I'm not going to lie.
Well, that's okay. I appreciate dorkiness. It's a bit of a wonkish position you seek. What about Foxconn? Would it be within the purview of the treasurer's role to make sure that this, lifetime investment Scott Walker is bellying up the state taxpayers for? How does the treasurer factor into monitoring and making sure that this foreign corporation honors the deal made on the back of the cocktail napkin?
Right. No, look, the founding fathers talk about this role being kind of the chief investor, but also give it this kind of auditing responsibilities. And so really this role needs to ask, what are Wisconsinites getting for their $3 billion? And they need to hold companies accountable for whatever deals they make. And if they're not performing, then we need to there's consequences for that. Look, in corporate America, if you weren't performing with the contract or the money that you were given, you get axed. And so taxpayers need that advocate to do that. And that's something that this role and something that I have done over my career.
And Sarah, does the treasurer involve herself or himself in tax policies right here in the state of Wisconsin? And I know it's legislated, but we've got an effective 0% tax rate, 0.4% for manufacturing and agribusiness interest. Does the treasurer have any say, like, hey, you're breaking the bank, giving away millions to rich people? Would you have any say in these sort of policy choices?
So I think the treasurer's role is not necessary in taxation, because that's more on the governor and the legislature. But I think it goes back to when they're being taxed and a contract is made, or when their money is being spent, is understanding, well, what are we getting for that? And is this really worth our investment? And so it's more on the other side of it to ensure that tax dollars are really being spent in the way that we have all agreed to as Wisconsinites, and making sure that if we do a deal with a company, they're upholding their end of the bargain.
Sarah, when we first started talking, you identified the two main roles as you see it for this position as fiscal watchdog, number one, and number two, to manage the trustee of a $1.2 billion trust fund. I want to get a little bit into that trust fund. What specifically, again, was it for? And then what's your opinion on how it's been managed under the current state treasurer?
Yeah, I mean, the $1.2 billion goes to public education, and specifically with public education, it goes to libraries and technology. So regardless of what a community, town, city's local property taxes might be, this is a guaranteed revenue stream for them. And I don't know, Dom and Mike, about you, but I think technology is important for our kids.
Yeah.
And so this is this is important money. So that's what the Common School Fund does. The other aspect about the Common School Fund that's really critical is it's a financing tool to local government. And what I mean by that is local governments can borrow money at a really low interest rate. So if there's a community, let's say Eau Claire, for example, and they want to build a new water treatment plant, and they might not have the funding right now to do it, they can borrow from this interest rate they can borrow the money they need at a low interest rate. So it's pretty important, because if you think about it, everyone is impacted by this fund. Whether it's, a dad and he wants to go to a park and the park was built through this trust fund, or it's, with public safety, to schools.
Hey, Sarah, I got to ask you a couple more. We're running short on time. Treasurer,
Sure.
Seems like it should be a nonpartisan watchdog position, but this is cast along partisan lines. You're running as a Dem. How do you see the role of Democrat in your candidacy for treasurer?
Yeah, I mean, I lead, and everything I do is by my values. And so, for example, one of the things that I really think is missing from this office is this consumer advocacy role that it's doing for example, financial exploitation, we know, is one of the main reasons that the aging agency in Wisconsin gets called, is because seniors are facing financial fraud. And so what are we doing as a state to protect our seniors? Veterans also have an extremely high financial exploitation rate. Or you think about the student loan crisis. What are we doing to actually address that?
Sarah, got one last question for you. What's your thought process on legalizing recreational marijuana? That would be a big old creation of a new taxation in the state of Wisconsin, and it would make you find friends, fast friends, with the devil's advocates. Your opinion on legalized marijuana, Sarah?
Well, all I will say on that topic is, I did local government in Colorado. And I can tell you, as somebody who was the director of strategy and performance for one of the fastest growing counties in Colorado, we saw a lot of benefit from legalizing marijuana in that state.
Sarah Godlewski, that's the right answer. She's a candidate for Wisconsin State Treasurer. Sarah, if people want to get involved in your campaign, give them the website quick.
Yes, please visit sarahforwisconsin.com, and that's Sarah with an H.
Sarah, so good to have met you at the Dallas Post election victory party. Keep on chugging, sister. We'll catch up again.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mike and Dom.
Thank you, sir.
Folks, more Devil's Advocates on the other side. Phone lines open to you. 844-967-2789.
Businesses today thrive and survive with technology. At Five Nines, we provide businesses with the IT tools they need to stay relevant. We offer enterprise-level solutions at competitive prices. I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO of Five Nines. Let us manage your IT so you can focus on more important things, like running your business. Check us out at 5nines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Crazy e-bike Lenny, where you been? We've been missing your nonsense on this radio station.
Come on, Trump is all the nonsense you need. But Crazy Lenny's e-bikes has some real sense. 2017, top-of-the-line, gold standard, 60-mile range e-bikes, liquidation price to $900. 60 miles with both pedal and throttle assist. A $2,000 e-bike for $900. This bike is great.
That's crazy.
And it's not fake news.
Go see my friend Lenny, 6017 Odana Road, Madison. Tell him the Devil's Advocate sent you.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Wisconsin's doing terribly. The roads are a disaster because they don't have any money to rebuild them. They're borrowing money like crazy. They projected a $1 billion surplus, and it turns out to be a deficit of $2.2 billion. The schools are a disaster. The hospitals and education is a disaster. And when I see Scott Walker with his little motorcycle and he puts his helmet on and he gets off and he makes a speech, but he's always riding like, he gets off a bike like he's a big tough guy, okay, or a little tough guy. Their lobbyists, their special interests, and their donors will start calling. They gave you $1 million to your campaign, and this one gave you $5 million, and this one, you have to do it. You know what he's going to say? Okay, I'll do it.
Mr. Trump, you're using the talking points of the Democrats, and as we all know, that
I'm using
failed
facts.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward. It's the right way to clean.
Hey everybody, I'm Darrell Ingram of News Talk 1510 WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, and I am the Director of Advertising and Marketing. The pride of our independent stands runs deep in all that we do here at the station. The thing that I know for sure is that you can count on the quality and independent production of client advertising, mirroring the quality and independence of our fine programming here at News Talk 1510. To learn more, contact me at 414-335-0851 or via email at darrell@newstalk1510am.com.
Hey, dude, quit bogarting. Tom and Crute are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back from the 420 break. Thank you so much for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Some say the greatest radio show ever. on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Phone lines are open 844-967-2789.
And Dominic, we want to thank our last guest and tell her you're welcome. With that bump, that Devil's Advocates bump.
Oh, she's in.
She is the state treasurer frontrunner in the state of Wisconsin. Thank you, Sarah Godlewski, a candidate, a Democratic candidate for Wisconsin state treasurer. A very impressive resume, and seemed like a very composed human being when we met her at the party.
We did get a text in from our audience. Here's one from Tyler. Says he's friends with the Republican candidate who dropped out for family reasons, apparently, telling us that he wanted to keep the office and Republicans just wanted to leave it vacant. So a little, rumors about what may have happened with the Republican dropping out of that race. Let's get to the phone lines, 844-967-2789.
Sure he didn't have a submissive in the closet somewhere?
Gonna go home and be more evil to the family. Pizza Box Mike, you're up, man. Hey, welcome. What do you got?
Pizza the Box. How you doing, brother?
Give a guy a chance to exhale. It's a 420 break. Hey, you timed that perfectly, the question.
Yeah,
and
nice.
I like the idea. I do like the idea of getting rid of a token treasurer for a token treasurer. I can see bags getting cheaper
Well done.
now, Don.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah. You know where I'm at, guys? You inspired me that first hour.
How so, Michael?
I'm at the park. I'm at the park all alone.
Yeah.
And I'm just waiting for a lonely Republican that wants to make me their sex slave.
How's that working for you?
Which park?
Well, I
if you're trolling Republicans, you got to give them better direction, Michael.
Let's just say I'm at a state park before Walker sells it off.
You're probably going to have to go to a private park, Mike. If you really want to attack the Republicans, get a Republican. You're not going to find them at the state parks.
Okay, well, I'm at that nude beach in Mazamania, and it's early and it's cold.
I was going to say the dog park because they all wear collars, apparently.
Oh, nice.
As they are leashed around by their dominant masters.
It's so cold, I feel like Trump. Not very impressive.
Shrinkage. The water was cold.
Teeny Mussolini.
Hey, Michael, I got one more story I want to throw out there. This one's kind of for you.
Yeah.
Saw it originally at Channel 3000. I found WGN Chicago's version. Sonic asked customers to stop smoking weed in the drive-thru.
What?
This one, apparently Gulfport, Mississippi. A Sonic in Mississippi is sending a message to anyone smoking marijuana in its drive-thru, according to the Biloxi Sun-Herald. A sign in the window reads, "Attention! If you're smoking weed in the drive-thru, you will not be served. Please show some common courtesy and smoke and air out before pulling up to order." Store manager Yasmin Freeman told the Sun-Herald the sign was posted after a customer blew smoke in the face of an underage employee.
Why would you do that? That's not nice.
Cannonball right back at you. She added that employees at the restaurant were tired of smelling the smoke while taking orders. Well, I would just say this in defense of all the pot smokers in the line at Sonic. If you did not smoke the weed, you couldn't eat the Sonic. That stuff, that is like a gut bomb, man. I'd never eat me no Sonic. Come back with us. Apparently, we will not be getting sponsored by Sonic over this break.
Hey, Batman here. Matt Rothschild from the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Hoping you'll support us as we track all that dark money that's splattering your screens with mud. You can count on us to tell you who really runs Wisconsin, and it's not Walker, Fitzgerald, and Voss. They're just the water boys for the Koch brothers, WMC, the NRA, and Diane Hendricks. You can find all this out at our website at wisdc.org, and while you're there, please send us a donation so we can keep after these bad guys.
The Devil's Advocates.
Major Wisconsin media, they have wrapped our state in a propaganda machine. They push the Wisconsin Walker agenda. That's what is happening. So we have to break that. And it's going to be a lot of work, but thank God we have 1510 there to help.
Jake, thank you so much. It's going to take more than just 1510. It's going to take people like you and all you listeners.
Making radio great again.
You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi folks, this is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009 or visit cclmanagement.com today.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in the former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. Closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
Hello, I'm Tom Bennett, President of Teamsters Local 200. In 1903, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters was founded, and our local union was founded in 1935 here in Milwaukee. During the last 115 years, the principles and values for the Teamsters Union have made many improvements for working families, creating a pathway to the American middle class. Teamsters have assisted families and communities in times of need. Currently, our active and retired membership are collectively working to benefit working families across this nation for retirement security and addressing long-term social needs here in Madison, Wisconsin, and in Washington, D.C. American workers do have a voice in the workplace. Let Teamsters Local 200 be part of that action plan for you. For more information, please visit us on Facebook at Teamsters Local 200 or visit our website at www.teamsterslocal200.com or give us a call at 414-771-6363. TeamstersLocal200.com or 414-771-6363.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. Summerfest has announced the headliners for the ground stages this summer. Among them are Boz Scaggs, Edgar Winter, Nick Lowe, Wishbone Ash, Trampled by Turtles, and the Yonder Mountain String Band. After spending over 30 years at City Hall, Mayor Barrett's longtime Chief of Staff, Patrick Curley, has announced that he is retiring. And the Cardinals shut out the Brewers last night 6-0. The Cubs now come to town for a big 4-game weekend series at Miller Park. Outside today, increasing clouds, then mostly cloudy tonight, lows in the upper 20s. Mostly cloudy and windy tomorrow, highs in the low 30s. Saturday, mostly sunny with highs again in the low 30s. I'm Stu Daniels for Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, as the true patriot on the panel,
yeah,
this music, this military march, it's inspiring to me. I wonder if my buddy Dale Coinga gets that same sort of yearning in his breast when he hears the sound of military music.
Military intelligence. State Rep Dale Coinga stole a sign, and then now the taxpayers are going to pay $30,000 to settle a lawsuit brought by our buddy Don, whose rights were grossly violated by this Republican. More Republican values on display here.
My real question, Don Johnson wins the victory over the band party.
Free beer.
Have we taught you nothing, sir?
Right.
Make sure the invite gets to the Devil's Advocates on Brady Street. Don Johnson, he's the victor. And Dale Coinga, Mr. Military Intelligence, Mr. Senator Wannabe, he has been invited on the show, of course, many times over, a fine guest here.
Yes, over the years has appeared many times.
Apparently, Rep Coinga, Senator Wannabe Coinga, forgot how to circle round.
Come on.
I've left a couple messages at the office. They just don't seem to circle round and return them like they used to, Don.
Well, you know how it goes, Crudy. If they don't come to us, we got to go to them, which means we jump on the internet and see what we can track down. And our friends at Citizen Action...
We have left the studio before. We have done some of our own mischief, but this is someone else's mischief.
Yes, our friends over at Citizen Action were in attendance at Rep. Dale Coinga's town hall meeting last night.
Going out to meet with the constituents. Tell him he's been a little naughty.
And during a question and answer, about 45 minutes into the town hall.
There were more questions than answers, though, right, Dom?
Well, there were questions and no answers given. But let's play it for the people. If we can't, Dale's not going to circle around, call us back. Come on and explain his position. Thank you to our friends over at Citizen Action. We will provide to you the sound from last night.
Dale Coinga, that phone number, toll free to you, sir. 844-967-2789. Text acceptable. But in this case, wouldn't you rather appear in person?
Absolutely. Let's start out with the question, cut number 1.
Something recently came up in the paper where you had an incident where you settled just the other day, costing $30,000 as for taking down some kind of sign in the Capitol. And we all make mistakes. I understand that. My question is why, as we as constituents, are paying for a mistake that you made?
Well, first of all, I appreciate the question because it's one of those questions that are awkward to ask and awkward to answer.
Awkward to ask and awkward to answer?
I would say more awkward to answer. Yeah. Are you implying you didn't like how the man stated his question? He seemed more clear than the answer I've heard from you so far. And thank you for asking that fine question.
And I'm so glad you did.
Do you think Dale was just buying himself a little bit of time to ruminate on the answer? Or do you think he really appreciated someone joining him at a town hall and asking him, Dale, why'd you steal the protester sign from Don Johnson?
That wasn't even the question. The question was, while we understand and everybody, we're all human, we make mistakes. Even you and I occasionally someday might, Crudy. But that wasn't the question. The question, and this is very important, the question the constituent asked Dale Coinga at the town hall is, why are the taxpayers paying for your mistake? Let's do cut number 2.
I don't know. I think everyone in this room has felt like they have been in a position before where you've been misunderstood. And I will tell you personally, this has been very, very frustrating for me. And so I actually really appreciate the opportunity in a forum like this to talk about it.
But you didn't actually answer any of the questions so far. Well, but you've been misunderstood and you're frustrated.
Yes.
And I thank you for asking that question.
I really appreciate that.
And your diction, very, very fine. Your enunciation, very clear.
Yes.
And how about that weather out there?
The Brewers won a hell of a game the other night. Let's continue on, Crudy. I didn't know. Again, the question, very important, people remember this. Why are the citizens of the state of Wisconsin paying your settlement costs for stealing Don's sign? Well, there's a history lesson, Crudy. Let's get to it. Cut 3.
Wisconsin is one of the only capitals in the country where you're allowed to put up signs. Those signs are in a designated area. So this sign was not in the designated area. It was in a different part of the building where there were never any signs. Okay. So what happened is the sign was there, okay, and the sign was also in a place where, as I mentioned to the public, there's children present. The sign had what I thought was non-civil discourse on it for being in a public building. That is not allowed in 49 other capitals from our research. It's not allowed in the U.S. Capitol. It's not allowed in the Waukesha County Courthouse and the Milwaukee County Courthouse, okay?
But you know where the sign was allowed, Crudy?
At the Wisconsin State Capitol. And not only that, but it was permitted, and the sign that Coinga, our buddy, references, had that permit affixed to it, Dom.
Right.
Maybe Dale couldn't see the permit where it was being positioned, Dom. Sort of a troublesome location. It's not just the non-designated area and the what, profane, he said, damn.
Oh, let's get to it. Here is more. Now we're getting there. We're going to get there. I'm sure of it, Crudy. Cut number 4.
So number 1, my criticism is civility. And when we're having public discourse, we're having civility, especially when there's children present, do we really have to go on about groping and damn people and all this sort of stuff, okay? That's number 1.
Groping and damn people. Not quite exactly what was said. Yes, the word groping was in there because that's what our president has been accused by over a dozen women of doing.
And he, of course, made that admission on the Access Hollywood tape that, they just let him.
So the guy you voted for kind of brought this.
We don't know that Dale voted for him. He's never really made the admission.
The Republican, the GOP.
The leader of the party.
Yeah, of which you are a member.
Still running as a Republican, aren't you, Dale?
And of course, damn people. There was not anything about damn people. I think it was some reference about not giving a damn, that the Republicans don't be damned.
Oh, my ears.
Oh, I know.
I got the vapors.
But Crudy, here is where the stripes training comes in. Let's go. Cut number 5.
Number 2 is, I'm not going to get all these details here because I didn't get the details in press, because there's a reason that all these details do not have to be public. So I'm not getting the complete details. But the military, what I do in the military is military intelligence. And when you have something like a sign against a curved wall in a place where it shouldn't be, that is a clear risk. Okay? You just can't leave signs that conceal something in the public.
Army training, sir!
What the hell's he talking about? You can't have a flat sign near a round curved wall?
Well, I can't get into the details, Crudy, because I'd have to kill you. You touch my stuff, I'll kill you. You come near me, I kill you.
Easy, Francis. Dale, this one seems implausible.
I guess he's saying,
like,
his military training kicked in. This is what he's saying.
So, is this top secret training? You can't tell us the theory behind why the curved wall and the permitted sign in the non-designated permitted sign area, although the permit affixed to the sign
means it's permitted.
What precisely were you fearful of? The boogeyman hiding behind the sign? I mean, did you think ISIS was hiding in the alcove? And once you picked up the sign and looked behind it and you realized, no ISIS here.
Oh, and he has a permit. He has permission from the government to put this sign here.
Well, at some point, Mr. Coinga, Senator wannabe Coinga, didn't your logic take over? Aren't these just poorly crafted excuses after the fact?
Let's keep going. Crudy. Cut number 6.
So the sign was taken down. We took it to our office. That sign was down for no more than 2.5 hours before we talked to the Capitol Police about it. Okay? And the sign was returned that same day. The exact same day. So you can imagine how frustrated I am when a Democrat who gives money to women for sexual stuff becomes a one-day story in the press. A one-day story. And then I'm just simply trying to do what I was right in the hindsight, would have done it differently, and it becomes a 4-day story. One, when Representative Coinga, with some of the liberal press, stole a sign. I removed a sign.
You stole it.
And we talked about the Capitol Police about that.
And then give it back.
Number 2, that
after being caught on video,
lawsuit was filed by the same attorney who was the defender of the people that bombed the UW building in 1970 that killed the research student, the same attorney.
So he had another defendant?
So,
first he cast aspersions at Gordon Hens. Apparently, Hens has been alleged to have happy ending at a massage parlor once.
You are a madman. I want to party with you, cowboy.
So cast
the two of us together? Forget it.
Cast aspersion against Gordon Hens because
or some Democrat.
He's a reprobate.
And that was just a one-day story. And this is a 4-day story. I don't deserve that.
When you talk about the Republican Party, we don't pay for sex. We have the women's side submissive contracts.
Right. Be my sex slave.
Or we just force ourselves upon them. Although there's been no allegations against Dale Coinga, let's not forget the former Assembly Majority Leader that Dale Coinga served under. He was accused of, sexual abuse against the Ron Johnson staffer. I speak, of course, of Bill Kramer. I didn't see you resigning your position and running out dismayed from the Capitol at that time, Dale.
Let's keep going. Cut number 7. Dale Coinga last night.
So I will just tell you that this has been not fun for me. It's not a fun part of the job. I don't appreciate it. Nobody in this room I know of, but there's people out there that are particularly nasty that post stuff on your daughter's Facebook birthday message. And it's when you have a family, it's frustrating when people do that. That's no one in this room. It's just part of the job. I just give you my word.
I can understand that.
I was just trying to do what I thought was right. I was not trying to do that for personal gain. I was not doing that because Dale Coinga is trying to defend Donald Trump. I was doing that because I thought at the time it was the right thing to do. In hindsight, I would have done it differently, and so that's what happened.
That was at least a $30K mistake. I mean, an accident is like when you crash your car and you got to call the insurance company and you pay the deductible.
Oh, you're walking through the hallway where the sign's at, and you got a briefcase and a phone, and you turn around, and you hit the sign, and it knocks over. That's an accident or a mistake.
But when you steal somebody's sign, and we, the taxpayers, are on the hook for $30,000, and when a constituent asks you a question at the town hall, and you've told them everything about your top secret military training and the fact that your daughter's Facebook page has been besmirched.
And you're very frustrated. And look at that and look at this.
And Gordon Hens, he had that one bad night at the massage parlor, and we don't talk about Bill Kramer around here anymore. But, I mean, these are really, really shallow excuses.
Well, and Crudy, I thought the same thing. And thankfully, the constituent, well, he had to, I guess, ask the question again.
You know, there's always, details from one side. The other, I don't know all the specific details. I'm just saying that, there's Capitol Police there. You certainly could have had them do it. It was a mistake on your part for doing it, obviously. Otherwise, you wouldn't have settled, but I still don't understand. I mean, you were in the middle of it. Why are we paying for something that you shouldn't have been doing?
It's just like
I mean, it may have been, I don't know, off color. It could have been anything. But we're still paying for some. I mean, you could have had the Capitol Police go there and say, hey, take that thing down. I mean, there had to have been many people walking through that area being able to see this sign. So that's one issue. But I still have a hard time understanding why we're paying for something that, and we all make mistakes. But why are we paying for your mistake?
That's one hell of a constituent. Dale, why are we paying for your mistake? Second time asking, still haven't gotten an answer.
Dom, I wrecked my car. If you'd be so kind as to pay for it for me, I'd greatly appreciate that.
Crudy, I pumped a porn star before I ran for president. I owe her like $130K. It'd be really cool if you'd take care of that for me.
I thought Donald Trump claimed he didn't know about the payoff.
I did not have sex with a porn star, nor do I have any idea who paid her off or why.
But Dale Cahuenga did know that he stole a sign, that he didn't take the simple step of just going over to one of the Capitol Police and saying, hey, is this sign approved?
And here's the unsaid...
Don't you find this profane? Don't you find this against all our military training?
Well, isn't he disparaging the Capitol Police? What, they don't know what's going on in that building?
He disparaged 2 or 3 others. Why not the Capitol Police?
Right. So, again, the fine constituent
everybody's
again,
fault but Dale's.
Why are we paying for your mistakes? And Dale, well, he tries to answer cut dime.
So the way any large organization is that when you have a large organization, you have the legal fees of continuing something, and those legal fees add up and up and add up. And so it's just like the Department of Corrections settled for $13.8 million for horrific suicide. And like when that happens, the state doesn't go after individuals. The state has funds set aside for legal settlements because the cost of maintaining a legal action throughout the whole process is expensive.
The state has what, criminal defense funds? We know Scott Walker has a criminal defense fund.
That we don't know who funds it.
We know that there have been what, $800,000 worth of sexual settlements on the taxpayer's dime here in the state of Wisconsin. But when did we get a slush fund for sign stealing?
And again, look, Dale Cahuenga again deflects. Look what Department of Corrections did. And it was an attempted suicide, I believe, what he's talking about. And the person got a multi-million-dollar settlement.
Was neglected for some period of time, had substantial brain damage. Dale, you would have to have substantial brain damage to believe any of the excuses you're trying to pass off on the town hall attendees.
Again, Dale, the one very simple question. Why are we paying for your mistake? I believe this is the last one, cut number 10.
Make no doubt about it. This was not like this is a political let's go after Representative Cahuenga. This is a political action. This was not a criminal action. This was a civil action by a person who's aligned with the opposition. It was a political act. And so, I mean, you guys have known me now for 7 years, and I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, that's what happened. That is what happened. Okay. And it's what happened. So, I mean, we have different opinions on it. I don't think it's a 4-day story, front page of the paper. But, I mean, that's the unholy alliance, I believe, between some of the press and the the people that say, hey, I got a political strategy, let's do this to represent Plainview. So it is what it is. I like to talk about policy. That's what I'll talk about, but that's what happened.
Thank you. Dom, how did we get left out of the unholy alliance?
I don't know. Where's my Soros money? And Dale, none of this stuff would have happened if you never touched that sign. And what you failed to answer was why. Why aren't you taking responsibility, Mr. Republican? Moral values, stand-up citizen, military intelligence? You did not apologize. You did not take responsibility. And you deflected for 10 cuts. All they wanted was a simple answer. You have yet to provide it to them.
Didn't they ever teach you in military intelligence school there might be dark operatives of the opposition that might put up permitted signs in the Capitol just to entice you to steal them?
It wasn't his fault.
So we, the taxpayers, have to pay your $30,000 settlement? That'd buy a lot of beer, Dale. Don, we're talking to you, man. When's the victory over the Coinga Man Party? Come back with us, Devil's Advocates. It's always a victory over the man when you listen to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Chicks dig me because I rarely wear underwear, and when I do, it's usually something unusual.
I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I'm not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more. It's a no-brainer. I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Dom and Crute special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call the number on a for sale sign?
Great questions. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you a home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust. Your agent will best find the home that fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from offer through closing day. And most home listing contracts stipulate that the seller's agent pays for the buyer's commission.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty 608-284-9311 or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
The Resistance is live 7 days a week here on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Tune in Sundays for Meet the Press with Chuck Todd from 11 a.m. to noon. Then it's the Jeff Santos Show, kicking ass for the middle class from 12 to 3 p.m. And Citizen Action's Battleground Wisconsin rages from 3 to 4 p.m. Get your groove on with Stu Man PM, politics and music, 4 to 6 p.m. with Stu Daniels. Always streaming at newstalk1510am.com, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. We are the People for People, People Corporation. We are a registered 501c3, totally legit. What do? We take your uncapped, dark money, tax-deductible donations, private or corporate, always anonymous, and we turn it into free speech. You know, educate Wisconsin through advertising, which may or may not be in coordination with the candidate. Isn't that illegal? It should be, but it's not under Wisconsin law, thanks Governor Scott Walker. Politicians in Wisconsin are beholden to the millionaire and billionaire sugar daddy and sugar mamas that finance their campaigns. Time to make them beholden to we the people for People Corporation. Give your tax-deductible donation to the real patriots, the People for People Corporation, P4PPC.org, P, the number 4, PPC.org.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent.
The Devil's Advocates may not agree on much, but funny is funny.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook. We're on Twitter at Devil Radio, and the party line 844-967-2789.
Dominic, we have shared the video of the town hall that Dale Coenga word saladed his way through.
Terrible, man.
Someone put up a little picture of Coenga with a thought bubble. He's speaking. So you're telling me that if someone gets a permit to display a political poster in the rotunda and I don't agree with it, I can't just steal it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
But my military training told me that I should remove the sign from a curved wall?
Army training, sir. And what about the Sterling Hall bombing from 1970?
Oh, yeah. Lester Pines was the attorney, the successful attorney representing our friend Don Johnson, who created the sign. Are you suggesting, Dale, that you don't think those that are accused even of egregious crimes should have legal representation? I mean, what? We want to do military tribunals? Is that how it should be done?
Scott Walker, criminally accused, had his own criminal defense fund in the state of Wisconsin. At least his donors paid his tab. We, the taxpayers, we all have to pay Sergeant Coenga's tab. Now, Captain Coenga, I believe, his rank.
Does this impact his
electability?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it does. Looks like a moron trying to deflect and explain this away.
Wouldn't you just be easier to just say, you know what, I couldn't believe it. I thought it was inappropriate. I'm so sorry I did that. It'll never happen again.
Can't believe this ever became a legal matter. And smarter still, if you've got consequences to face, if you've got skeletons in your closet, Democrats or Republicans, you better get out front. You better come on the Devil's Advocates. Come down to Brady. You better explain yourself to our audience.
Got some explaining to do, Coenga.
Or we're just going to mock you on the radio. I don't know if you understand. It's a cause and effect. You do something stupid. You don't come apologize to us.
We mock you.
That's how it works. We are the Devil's Advocates. And the happy hour, it's coming right now. We're going to get happy. We got Cathy Myers. She's a candidate for Wisconsin's 1st congressional district. Saw a New York Times article on that race. They're saying it's a circus, Dom. Well, I love the circus. Come back. More of us on Wisconsin's only Resistance Radio Network, 1510 AM, 1580 AM.
On Thursday, April 12th at 1:45 p.m. and 6:45 p.m., WRRD 1510 a.m. and WTTN 1580 a.m. will participate in Wisconsin's statewide tornado drills. These are only tests and will last for 1 minute. When the tests are finished, we will return to normal programming. These tornado drills are an excellent opportunity for you and your family to prepare for the upcoming severe weather season and to practice your emergency plans. To learn more, go to readywisconsin.wi.gov.
My name is Adam Holmes, and I'm proud to be union.
Adam, you're Director of Training for Painters District Council 7. What do you do?
I'm making sure that we're investing in our members. We're providing the safest and best trained painters, glazers, drywall finishers, and trade show workers in the industry, and we also do that at no cost to the taxpayers.
Why hire unions?
Because it costs less to be safe. We keep the contractor on the right side of OSHA and help keep the workmen's comp rates affordable. Join us, Painters and Allied Trades, District Council 7.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off at school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I got to tell you, so when I first moved to Green Bay to play football in 92, I had never been to Wisconsin. But the funniest thing I thought, you could not buy hamburger patties without a dollop of butter on them.
Folks, just so you know, if you take a little bit of herb butter and put it in the middle of a patty and just kind of mold it around there, you get magic.
I have one of my arteries right now.
How much did you say you weighed?
I'm gaining weight with my thoughts right now.
You're 3 bills and some change already, brother.
Guns Butter Economics, 414 Wisconsin, weekdays 2 to 3 p.m. on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
No nothing payment, SoCal Quake. I'm Barbara Cusack. For the first time, President Trump responded to reporters' questions about a $130,000 payment made by his personal attorney, Michael Cohen, to an adult film actress. Details from correspondent Jeff Zeleny.
He did break his silence on Stormy Daniels when he was flying back from West Virginia to Joint Base Andrews. He was asked directly about that payment for $130,000 made to Stormy Daniels right before the 2016 election. He said he did not know about that payment. And then he was also asked about where he got the money for the payment. He says, I don't know.
The president also told reporters he wants to send 2,000 to 4,000 National Guard members to the U.S.-Mexico border, and the administration is looking into how much that will cost. An earthquake rocked the Southern California coast, striking near the Channel Islands. Correspondent Jim Roop has more from Los Angeles.
When it struck, it felt strong. A jolt, then some swaying for a few seconds. The U.S. Geological Survey puts the magnitude at 5.3, a good size. It gets your attention for sure. There are always concerns of something like this being a precursor to a larger event, but experts say there's only about a 5% chance that is the case. I like looking at it, though, as a 95% chance it isn't.
The earthquake early warning system gave a heads up before it shook the LA region. The Surgeon General issued a public health advisory recommending that more Americans carry the opioid overdose reversing drug naloxone. Medical correspondent Sanjay Gupta.
You don't see these very much. The last time a public health advisory was issued like this was back in 2005, and that was warning pregnant women about the uses of alcohol during pregnancy. So they want to make this more widely available.
Hawaii's Governor David Ige signed a bill legalizing medically assisted suicide, making it the 6th state to do so, along with Washington, D.C. I'm Barbara Cusack.
Hi, I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO of Five Nines. Have you got your head in the clouds on how to manage IT for your enterprise? We can make your dreams a reality. With our enterprise cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting, we'll manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Consider Five Nines your personal enterprise IT solution. Enjoy technology. For more information, visit 59s.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've messed up your daughter's haircut. Do you A, get spiritual?
Mom, where's the mirror?
Beauty is within. Oh.
B, find the positives?
Less time blow drying, more time texting?
Or C, show empathy?
Mom, you really don't have to.
Twinsies!
I kinda love it. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
The New York City Police Department settled a lawsuit that said it illegally targeted Muslims in terrorism investigations.
The settlement dates back to surveillance tactics that were used starting 17 years ago in the weeks and months after 9/11. The lawsuit stemmed from the way the NYPD gathered intelligence at mosques, bookstores, Muslim schools, and associations. NYPD Deputy Commissioner John Miller said they opened up their policies to the eyes of Muslim organizations.
We were able to show them the existing policies. We were asked to accentuate and re-emphasize them in training material and other documents.
The police department agreed not to engage in suspicionless surveillance on the basis of religion or ethnicity. Steve Kastenbaum, New York.
Tiger Woods feels like he played better than he scored at the Masters as he shot a 1/73 in the opening round today. The Masters is his first major since playing the PGA Championship in August of 2015. I'm Barbara Cusack.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates.
U.S. Senator Ron Johnson, our friend, live via phone. What about simply raising the age of weapons purchases to 21 years of age?
We're sending 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds over to Afghanistan, and they're dying. They ought to be able to vote, they ought to be able to have a beer, and they ought to be able to buy a gun to hunt with as well.
Are you suggesting we lower the drinking age?
No. Can't they do that now? What is the age nowadays?
It's 21, sir.
We drink when we toast. We toast when we drink.
Yikes.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. About 550 gallons of a toxic pollutant have leaked from submerged cables in the Straits of Mackinac between Lake Huron and Lake Michigan. Summerfest has announced the headliners for the ground stages this summer. Among them are Jethro Tull, George Thorogood, Buddy Guy, Matthew Sweet, Drivin' and Cryin', and Maze featuring Frankie Beverly. And St. Joseph Hospital in Milwaukee will no longer provide surgical and other services, but will continue to operate its emergency department under a new long-term plan announced by Ascension. Outside today, increasing clouds, then mostly cloudy tonight, lows in the upper 20s. Mostly cloudy and windy tomorrow, highs in the low 30s. Saturday, mostly sunny with highs again in the low 30s. I'm Stu Daniels for Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves' corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, we're sliding into the 5 o'clock happy hour, and I'm happy to announce we got a fine guest right now live via phone. She is Cathy Myers, a candidate for Wisconsin's 1st Congressional District, currently held by Speaker Paul Ryan. Cathy, welcome back to the show.
Oh, hi. Thank you for the invitation, and good afternoon to you.
Thank you, Cathy.
Well, Cathy, I want to set the record straight. I got a couple friends that are representing that they're throwing a town hall down in Paul Ryan's district this weekend. Specifically, I mean, your Dem opponent, Randy Bryce, and my congressman, Mark Pocan. But, Cathy, that's not the real March for Our Lives-inspired town hall. You were invited to that town hall. Cathy, I understand you've accepted the invitation to the real town hall. So I'm not exactly sure what my buddies Randy and Mark are talking about. They've got a competing town hall in Paul Ryan's district on Saturday.
Well, yeah, I am going to the town hall in Kenosha. It was organized by students as part of the March for Our Lives, movement, which I think is tremendous. And I'm incredibly proud of these students for putting it on. We got an invitation to attend the town hall on Friday, March 30th. And then, another town hall, Congressman Pocan announced the town hall in Janesville, which conflicted at a time. But I have to tell you that Congressman Pocan graciously moved the time of his town hall back a little bit so that he wouldn't conflict with the students in Kenosha. And so now Randy could technically attend both of them. He might have to leave the one in Kenosha a little bit early, but he could certainly attend them both now. So, and I really appreciate, the congressman. I know that his schedule is tight, but I really appreciate him moving that to help out these kids.
Well, I love Mark Pocan, and he is a good friend, one of the best this show has. But here's what I would say. He has endorsed Randy Bryce, and I take a little issue. I pick a little nit with that decision. Mark Pocan never endorsed in the Wisconsin presidential primaries. I'm not at all clear why my congressman has chosen to endorse your opponent. Cathy, we haven't seen any polling out of this race. We have no idea whether you or Randy might survive the primary. I know that Randy's gotten a lot of Hollywood attention and lots of money into his campaign, but Cathy, you've had a lot of excitement about your campaign. You're doing a good job raising money. Why should you not be the viable candidate coming out of the first on the Democratic side?
Well, I think that you raise a great point, and that's one of the issues that we've been trying to push in this campaign as well. As I know that the congressman has endorsed Randy. He has every right to do that. It's up to him, and some other people have as well. But I have always said that what I want is the opportunity to compete on a straight, even playing field where we can talk about our qualifications and our records and allow for the voters of the 1st Congressional District to make an informed decision. And so, that's, it's his right to do that, but you're absolutely right. We have been making our case about why I should be the one to go up against Paul Ryan, why I am the better candidate and more likely to beat Paul Ryan. And we are picking up steam like crazy. We raised nearly $500,000 in the last 3 months. We've raised over $750,000, and it is, and we're ramping up our field program right now. So, things are looking really great for us. People are responding to this, and they really want to be able to make an informed decision about which of us should go up against Paul Ryan, and we're doing everything we can to make sure that they have the opportunity.
Well, we'll certainly turn to a little Paul Ryan bashing in a moment, Cathy, but one more question. It would seem to me, and I am intimately familiar with both your campaigns, both you and Randy Bryce, but it would seem to me that his campaign has been very dismissive of your campaign. They'd like to claim some sort of victory in the field already, but there's no evidence to suggest they've got any sort of victory to claim. Cathy, it's got to be frustrating from your perspective. I mean, if there's any wave in this country, it's not just blue, it's also female. Let me ask you, in light of the Me Too movement, and, perhaps girl power and all those sort of things, Cathy, is there any sexism at work here? Do you think that Randy is denigrating you whatsoever for your gender?
Well, that is an interesting question. I know that I kind of felt at the very beginning that he was selected by a consulting group to run because they felt, and this is simply my take on it, they felt that in order to combat the testosterone fueled White House that we have right now, and sort of the way that it seemed like politics went after Trump, I kind of felt like they wanted a testosterone candidate to go up against Paul Ryan. I think it was a profound miscalculation on their part, and I think it means that they went with a sort of one-dimensional approach to finding a quality candidate against Paul Ryan. Between the two of us, I am the only one who has won elections and been top vote getter each time. And I ran as a person who supported collective bargaining rights and demanded those, and I served that way, and I was reelected that way. And I think, so sexism, I think more like it's not always directly sexism. It's just this sort of attitude or a regular kind of habit that people have of just not thinking about, the other possibilities out there.
Folks, you're listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show right here on Wisconsin's only Resistance Radio Network, 1510 AM, playing out in the 1st Congressional District, 1580 AM, playing out in the rest of central Wisconsin. Cathy Myers, our guest live via phone. She's a fine candidate for Wisconsin's 1st Congressional District. Cathy, a little side note. You've run for office before. My understanding is you got something like 10,000 votes. Cathy, in a Democratic primary in the 1st Congressional District, something like 20,000 votes might make you the general election Dem.
Yes, correct. And I've already been able to secure at one other time 10,000 votes, and that was in a spring primary or spring election, when voting is down. And so I feel very confident in my approach to this election, to the ground game that we are going to create. I have on my team one of the best field organizers ever. He ran the field operation during the Walker recall in 2012. He was the statewide field director where they knocked over 1 million doors. And you mentioned my primary opponent's sort of the attention that he's getting on a national level, and that's fine and good. I know a lot of people really care about this race, and they really care about defeating Paul Ryan. But this is going to be won on the ground. This is going to be won by going door to door and talking to people like neighbors, which is something that we should never have stopped doing and should always do in every race.
Cathy, Crudy mentioned the Me Too movement, and certainly that's going to, I think, have an influence on this election cycle. But I think there's another issue as well, and that's the NRA and guns and teacher strikes around the country. You're a school teacher. You're intimately involved and are aware of these issues. How much of an impact and how much support do you think you can garner from the anti-NRA and your fellow teachers?
Well, I think that I can garner a lot of support from that as well. I mean, I certainly experience the same sort of concern and frustration and fear that a lot of people have experienced, and especially teachers. I think it is. What I really love most about the kids and the March for Our Lives movement is their ability to keep this topic and this really important issue in the forefront. And I have always been dismayed how nothing happened, after Columbine, nothing happened after Sandy Hook, and how the issue sort of fades, until the next massacre. And I'm glad that they're talking about banning military-style assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, about prohibiting purchases until the age of 21 and requiring these background checks on all gun purchases. I'm glad that they're doing this. I fully support. I really support a lot of the ideas that they have proposed. And so, to me, I have hope. Okay, so it's an issue that's important to me, obviously, very important to me. And if you care about this issue as well, I'm a good candidate for you in this respect. But you know what? Ultimately, this is about making sure that in the future our kids are safe, that you can attend school without fear of being slaughtered, that you can go to a movie, go to church, walk down your street without fear of attack, go to work, all these things without fear of this. And that's why I'm so thrilled with this movement, and I support these kids 100%.
Well, Cathy, I know Paul Ryan's had lots of thoughts and prayers, but I got to ask you one more question before we wrap it up for the day. Mueller investigation. Apparently, there will be some sort of report on the President of the United States and potential obstruction of justice. Now, this is going to drop during the midst of the primary, somewhere in June or July, and suddenly guys like Paul Ryan are going to be on the defense. They're going to have to either stand with the president or what, I don't know. But Cathy, how do you think this issue will impact if Mueller drops a report saying Trump has obstructed and it happens before the midterms? Cathy, how can impeachment not be on the table as a topic for candidacy and discussion this fall?
Well, if this drops, yeah, I think that impeachment should be on the a topic of discussion. We've brought it up ourselves. We even held a town hall on it back in, I think, October it was, sometime last fall. This is really about leadership, and I think this is one of the reasons why people are so disgusted and dismayed by Paul Ryan these days, even people who have supported him in the past. This is why he's underwater in polling. And it's that this is a corrupt White House, and Paul Ryan is complicit in the corruption if he doesn't stand up to it, and he hasn't. And so, people want to see the kind of leadership that they can look to with pride. And even if they disagree with somebody, they want to know that good people are there doing the right thing and holding up a certain level of integrity.
Cathy Myers, give them your website if people want to get involved in your campaign.
Thank you. Yes, go to CathyMyersForCongress.com.
Thank you. Cathy Myers for Congress, a fine guest right here on the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. We'll catch up again soon, Cathy. More of us. Come back with us. Phone lines open 844-967-2789.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call the number on a for sale sign?
Great questions. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you a home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust. Your agent will best find the home that fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from offer through closing day. And most home listing contracts stipulate that the seller's agent pays for the buyer's commission.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty, 608-284-9311, or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order in classic corner tavern.
Every hiring manager knows that a company is only as good as the people it's made from. So where do you find the best people? That may surprise you.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
This is talent worth knowing about.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward. It's the right way to clean.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Crazy E-Bike Lenny, where you been? We've been missing your nonsense on this radio station.
Come on, Trump is all the nonsense you need. But Crazy Lenny's E-Bikes has some real sense. 2017, top-of-the-line, cold standard, 60-mile range E-Bikes, liquidation price to $900. 60 miles with both pedal and throttle assist. A $2,000 E-Bike for $900. This bike is great.
That's crazy.
And it's not fake news.
Go see my friend Lenny, 6017 Odana Road, Madison. Tell him the Devil's Advocate sent you.
Tune in to The Resistance, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Start your weekday off with the Earl Ingram Show from 7 to 9 a.m. Next is the Stephanie Miller Show from 9 to 11. Then from 11 to 2, it's the Tom Hartman Program. At 2 o'clock, it's 414 Wisconsin. Then from 3 to 6, it's the Devil's Advocates. Mandatory listening. Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
The Devil's Advocates, where there's always time for Scott Walker bashing. Hashtag Walker bashing.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Also YouTube, Facebook, on Twitter at Devil Radio. And the phone lines are 844-967-2789.
Want to thank our last fine guest, Cathy Myers, candidate, Wisconsin's 1st Congressional District, currently held by Speaker Paul Ryan, a daunting task to take out the number 3 in the entire government, electorally. It will be daunting, no matter whether it's Randy Bryce or whether it's Cathy Myers.
Sure.
But here's what I will say. And I don't have a dog in this fight, but I will tell you, it bothers me a lot when one Democrat fails to acknowledge the other Democrat when they're in the primary together. When one Democrat has the opportunity to appear at a March for Life-led town hall, the real town hall, the one led by the kids, but to do so would mean to stand side by side by your primary opponent. And when one campaign decides they're not going to acknowledge the other campaign, think they're somehow above the fray, and somehow this other candidate can be dismissed. Well, I don't have a dog in this fight, as I mentioned, but I don't like this.
Yeah, but I mean,
Democrat versus Democrat
why would
stuff.
you engage until you have to? I mean, I hear what you're saying. It's not necessarily about acknowledgement.
It
but
is.
If I'm running against you, Crudy, and we're going, we'll get to a debate sooner or later.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure the Bryce campaign intends to debate or stand side by side with Cathy Myers? Because I'm not at all clear that is their intent.
There is a long time to go, dude.
The guy's raised like $4 million. The guy thinks he's got enough money in the bank to win the primary, and he's out there on cable news, and I don't think he feels like he's got to acknowledge her candidacy.
I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree, but certainly you're going to have to warm up. If you're going to take on the Speaker of the House, you're going to have to warm up. People got to see you side by side. I'm not saying you do 6 debates, but you got to step on the stage next to each other and hash it out and talk about your qualifications and your record and why you would be best for be the one to take on the Speaker of the House.
Well, I've seen Scott Walker doing this whole invite-only town hall. Don't ever face any hostile sort of town halls. Those aren't town halls.
Right.
You know what? Those are not town halls. So perhaps it's my anger at the current governance. I don't like when Democrats start following that example of Republicans and thinking that they somehow can hide from the electorate, have more money, run the better ads, and never really have to face the music and put themselves up side by side and say, I have the better qualifications for the
if that's
job.
The kind of recommendation and advice that a candidate gets, I would say it's not good advice. You got to get on stage. You're going to debate. You're going to have to debate. If it's not going to be against your Democratic opponent, it's certainly going to be against your Republican opponent.
Or Tom and Crude, if necessary. I will debate you.
And if not, we'll just mock you on the air.
Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. 844-967-2789. Toll and text line. It's open to you.
They'll challenge your authority because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, and in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
The Resistance is live 7 days a week here on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Tune in Saturdays for Busted Pencils, fully leaded education talk with Dr. Tim Slecker, 11 a.m. to noon. Then it's the voice of the voiceless, champion of the working class. Earl Ingram's Saturday show is live from 12 to 3 p.m. Then Right Meets Left with the Joel and Joe Costa Show, Republican State Rep Joel Clayfish, and Democratic State Rep Joe Costa Zamaripa go toe-to-toe from 3 to 4. Always streaming at newstalk1510am.com, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
You are listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Believe me, there is no collusion. Believe me.
I'm afraid right now for the future of my children's generation and those to come.
In this age of mass school shootings, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker offers the same bold agenda of the National Rifle Association.
Make sure you remember in your thoughts and more importantly in your prayers.
While Walker offers platitudes, he blocks meaningful gun safety legislation.
It's really an honor to work with the NRA, not only in my state, but across the country. And I'm proud of my A+ ranking as a governor.
Walker weakened the gun laws in Wisconsin, and then he got $3.5 million worth of NRA support.
There have been men and women of courage who've been willing to stand up and think more about the future of their children and their grandchildren than they thought about their own futures.
Scott Walker, you are not one of them. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Citizen Action of Wisconsin invites you to a fundraiser for Voces de la Frontera on Friday, April 20th from 5 to 8 p.m. The event will be held at the Milwaukee Labor Council located at 633 Hawley Road in Milwaukee. This is a potluck dinner. Please bring a dish to share. The suggested donation is $25. The event is co-sponsored by Grassroots South Shore, the Progressive Moms of Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Turners, the Milwaukee Teachers Association, and Indivisible TOSA.
In this hot real estate market, don't pay 5 or 6% commission. With Homeowners Concept Realtors, you pay no more than 3.9% for full service. Homeowners Concept Realtors sell many more homes per year than the average agent. That's experience you can count on. If you're thinking of selling, call 414-258-7778 for an agent that specializes in your area for ideas on price, marketing, and staging your home. The more you know, you'll wisely choose Homeowners Concept 3.9% Realtors. HomeownersConcept.com.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. Summerfest has announced the headliners for the ground stages this summer. Among them are Jethro Tull, George Thorogood, Buddy Guy, Matthew Sweet, Drivin' and Cryin', and Maze, featuring Frankie Beverly. The Milwaukee Public School Board is meeting in a closed session today to consider naming an interim superintendent until a permanent successor is found for Darian Driver. And the Bucks were off last night. They were still able to clinch a playoff spot, though, because the Sixers beat the Pistons. The Brooklyn Nets come to town tonight to take on the Bucks. Outside today, increasing clouds, then mostly cloudy tonight, lows in the upper 20s. Mostly cloudy and windy tomorrow, highs in the low 30s. Saturday, mostly sunny with highs again in the low 30s. I'm Stu Daniels for Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
The Devil's Advocates may not agree on much, but funny is funny.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, the happy hour continues. And you know what I think would be very funny?
What's that?
If Mueller dropped obstruction of justice on Trump right before the midterms, as this article implies might happen. Got a piece here, thehill.com, an op-ed piece. This week, we learned from the Washington Post in a story that ran in the Wednesday paper that special counsel Robert Mueller plans to release a report about President Trump's actions while in office, discussing the issue of obstruction of justice It will probably be finished by June or July.
Hey, our birthdays are in June. Hopefully we'll have a birthday present.
You and Trump's also.
Yeah.
You share a birthday with Trump.
He shares one with me.
My birthday this year will be celebrated with 2 blue wins in special elections in the state of Wisconsin.
Forced by the courts against Wisconsin value Republicans. Again.
Family value Republicans.
What? No value Republicans.
If you value my friendship, audience, you will vote on June 12th in the 42nd, in the 1st, and then you'll come on and we'll party about the victorious blue victories over the man. But let's get back to Mueller and perhaps his victories in the future over Donald Trump. Next week, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg will testify before a joint hearing of the Senate Judiciary and Commerce Committees on Tuesday and before the House Energy and Commerce Committee on Wednesday about the improper gathering of personal information from Facebook by Cambridge Analytica. When you think of Cambridge Analytica, think Scott Walker. From nearly 90 million people, most of them Americans. Special Counsel Mueller has reportedly asked Cambridge Analytica to provide detailed information about its work for the Trump campaign in 2016 as part of his investigation of Russian attacks against the election. Whatever Mueller's investigation uncovers, it should be noted that Cambridge Analytica has worked almost exclusively for Republican candidates and hired most of their data staff from Scott Walker's failed presidential campaign. I read on, including work during the 2014 midterm elections in its American campaign business. On a related matter, Mueller will probably soon announce indictments of a number of additional Russians beyond his previous indictments for hacking against Hillary Clinton and Democrats. These indictments may or may not include Americans. Think Roger Stone. Zucker's testimony to Congress should be viewed in tandem with Mueller's investigation for purposes of substantive issues surrounding the Russia scandal and the political impact, especially on Republicans, of the continuing investigations and indictments. Regarding the Washington Post story, it was reported that Mueller has informed Trump's attorneys that the president is currently a subject of the investigation and is not currently a target of the investigation. Some of Trump's defenders, think Sean Hannity, argued that the media or political opponents of Trump should simply accept that Mueller has not designated Trump as a target of the investigation, or think Scott Walker and the GAB.
Right, that's exactly what this
I bet
is
you
like.
Francis Schmidt should have said Scott Walker, target number 1 of the John Doe 2 investigation, but
Yes,
I
he
read on.
should have.
They, political opponents of Trump, should simply accept that Mueller has not designated Trump as a target of the investigation, as though this definitive or as though this is definitive or exculpatory. Nothing could be further from the truth, Dom.
Assuming the Washington Post story is accurate and Trump is currently emphasis on currently a subject of the investigation, but not a target, one thing is absolutely certain: Trump is today under active investigation by Mueller. Period.
Yeah, that is an admission that Hannity and the righties would have to make, right? He's not the target, but he's the subject, i.e., he's under investigation.
And you can go from subject to target based on evidence as it continues to flow in. I continue from the Washington Post opinion piece. The Mueller investigation has drawn no conclusion about whether or not Trump has committed any wrongdoing. End of story. The media should be applauded, not attacked, for covering this story aggressively until the special counsel renders a final judgment. Taking all of these events together, the natural course of Mueller's investigation will be to drop bombshell matters of profound importance about the Russia scandal on the Republican Congress from now through the midterm elections in November.
Oh, from the author's lips to God's ears, Dom.
Mueller's conclusions about obstruction of justice, which probably will explode onto public view by June or July, will rock Congress, especially Republicans running in 2018. Maybe that's why, Speaker Ryan is waiting so long. I mean, when he makes that decision after some news drops. I continue. If Mueller does charge that the president committed obstruction of justice, the minute that report becomes public, which it certainly will one way or another, there will be a huge public firestorm. The issue of impeachment will take center stage. If he does not directly charge obstruction of justice, the report will almost certainly include negative facts and findings that will put Republicans on the spot, while other aspects of the Mueller investigation continue and more indictments and plea bargains are announced from now through Election Day. Mueller, who has sources and information about the Russian scandal that are far beyond anything that has been publicly reported, will be closely following the Zuckerberg testimony next week. There is a growing public outrage against the virtual elimination of personal privacy in America. There may well be revelations during the hearings about Facebook's relationship with Russia and with Cambridge Analytica, while Mueller continues to pursue investigations, indictments, and plea bargains surrounding these matters. It would be a disastrous and historic mistake for Republicans to attack the investigators, the investigations, and the media in the face of ongoing Russian-related bombshells produced by Mueller's investigations. Republicans who do so are on the wrong side of history, the wrong side of facts, the wrong side of the law, and the wrong side of politics. Mueller is fundamentally investigating a Watergate-type scandal involving crimes committed by a hostile foreign enemy waging a war against American democracy. Whatever the coming Mueller bombshells will include, the right and smart move for Republicans as the midterms approach is to stand foursquare on the side of America against this hostile foreign attack. If they do not, the price they will pay at the polls will be catastrophic.
Dominic Badowski was the aide to former Senator Lloyd Benston, Democrat from Texas, and Rep. Bill Alexander. He was Chief Deputy Majority Whip of the U.S. House of Representatives. Badowski holds an LLM. What's an LLM? That's some higher degree that I do not hold.
In international financial law from the London School of Economics.
Mueller's going to drop bombshells, obstruction of justice perhaps included, sometime in the summer months. Right in the heat of the, primary season, Paul Ryan, as you've noted, Speaker of the House, has not yet made it clear his intent to run for re-election. Now, I'm just going to speculate he's going to run. He's a good soldier. Without Paul Ryan running for re-election, it will be a disastrous trouncing for the Republicans. Well, if Paul Ryan ever wants to work on K Street, he better suck it up and run for re-election.
Unless it is so bad. Imagine the worst. I mean, whatever the worst possible scenario could be. Imagine it's that.
That won't stop Republicans from deflecting, defending, and running for re-election and trying to preserve their narrow majorities.
But how could, and I agree with the writer in this opinion piece that, if the Republicans, and how does any American not stand up? If the investigation comes down that Trump was hand in hand with Russians and trying to subvert our democracy, I mean, I don't know what the definition of treason is, but they should hang him high. And how do you stand knowing that and then knowing you defended him all this time? Up to that point, you've defended him. I mean, they've essentially enabled Donald Trump to continue this in the foreign policy and the lack of sanctions. I mean, these crimes and this influence, this foreign influence, continues to this day, and it continues to this day because of the lack of courage and spine from the Republicans that are in office.
We know that there was obstruction of justice, Dom.
It was on TV. I saw it.
Lester Holt, NBC, got pretty good ratings, I think. Donald Trump admitted firing James Comey to take the Russian pressure off. Donald Trump's gone after Andrew McCabe. Donald Trump went after Jeff Sessions. Donald Trump has threatened to replace Jeff Sessions with Scott Pruitt from over at the EPA, former Attorney General. At least he would have the basis qualifications to replace Sessions, so then he could fire Rosenstein.
And if he did so, he wouldn't have to go through
senatorial confirmation again because he's already in the cabinet. But now you can't use you can't use Pruitt to replace Sessions because he's so damaged by his own ethical encumbrances or non-ethical encumbrances. But here's the point. Donald Trump's in a lot of hot water, and we're going to see this report, and it's going to be very abundantly clear to all except the sycophants and Sean Hannity that Donald Trump obstructed justice in the investigation of possible collusion. Well, whether or not he colluded with the Russians will be secondary to the fact that he has taken every possible step to obstruct justice since then.
Well, his campaign has colluded with the Russians. I mean, I don't know what you mean. How collusion is not a legal term per se, but we have
definitive proof that, I mean, we may find out that Roger Stone was in the mix with WikiLeaks, knew that the Hillary emails were coming. Donald Trump from the stump, although, just joking, air quotes. Well, Russians, if you're listening and You can find Hillary's email. That'd be a really good thing, right?
Yeah, he was just joking when he said beat the hell out of him, and people got assaulted at his crowds, too.
I'd pay the legal fees. He was also probably just joking when, he had Sergei and Sergei at the Oval Office betrayed the confidence of Israeli intelligence? I mean, the man's already committed treason in known ways. He's already obstructed justice in known ways. Paul Ryan's been there the whole time.
And done what?
Well, Paul Ryan's basically given the man cover because let's not forget the Nunes, the House Investigatory Committee led by Devin Nunes, this partisan hack who's been, according to staffers on the Democratic side, under such tremendous pressure from the White House to obstruct justice. The man has been corrupted. Well, Paul Ryan, as the Speaker of the House and controller of all committee assignments, could have pulled the man off, chose not to. Why not, Paul Ryan? Because you're up to your own eyeballs in protecting this president from what comes next.
Or they're involved because the influence that Russian had, not just with Donald Trump, but perhaps the entire Republican RNC.
In other words, you mean that House races also utilize some of these same methods? Cambridge Analytica, false stories, fake news, trolling. Oh yeah, that's also been reported. And Paul Ryan heads up the House Republican caucus. In effect, as the Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan may already be involved. We might see his name flop up in a few Mueller reports as well. Devin Nunes,
and as such,
I suspect he's going to prison for some period of time.
Perhaps Paul Ryan would then, knowing all this, because he
still run for re-election, because that's what a good soldier does. That is his job, is to get Republicans elected.
Throw the grenade in the captain's tent.
You know he has no courage. You think he's going to frag Trump? No freaking way. He is going down with that ship.
If nothing else, these Republicans have shown themselves to be very self-involved. For their own protection, you don't think these cats will roll and run and just walk away?
I may have implied Paul Ryan has done something illegal. I think he's a smart enough cookie. I don't think he did anything illegal, but I think he has chosen to support Donald Trump despite prior knowledge of the corruption of this man, the obstruction of justice of this man, what's going on in his House Intelligence Committee under Devin Nunes' lead. I think Paul Ryan has been aware and complicit after the fact since day one. Now, no criminal charges, I suspect, ever against Paul Ryan. I'm not implying otherwise. But a man of courage would stand up to the President of the United States. A man of courage might find a different career choice. But Paul Ryan, you, sir, are not a man of courage, or you'd go face your own constituents at town halls, which you have not done going on like 3 years.
900 days, something like that.
I heard he had a town hall in Texas, where all the 1st Congressional District voters lived on.
Yeah, a town hall where you had to be invited to come in, that kind of town hall.
Bring your checkbook. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. You can always join us here.
We town hall it here every single day.
All you have to do is participate. Call us on the phones, 844-967-2789. And I think there's some breaking Trump craziness. We'll tell you all about it. And he finally commented on Stormy Daniels. Knew nothing about the payments. Stormy's attorney seems very pleased. Thinks that strengthens his case.
I hope. You know what that means, right? I don't know if this sends a message. It doesn't make it.
I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I'm not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more, it's a no-brainer, I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Diamond Crute Special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
Matt Rothschild here from the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. I love being on Resistance Radio because I get to tell you who's throwing money around in the state capitol. It's disgusting. Wisconsin's not open for business. It's open for bribery. And Walker, Fitzgerald, and Voss have turned the Capitol into an ATM for their corporate cronies. At the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign, we blow the whistle on all of them. So please go to our website at wisdc.org, check out our latest stories, and send us a donation. We need a louder whistle.
Juice, Mom. Juice, juice, juice.
Mommy, why are we going to the store? Mom,
I want
juice. Mom,
Juice.
Mom.
Your child will have different needs at different stages of life, and that includes the car seat. See, car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates.
We've got U.S. Senator Ron Johnson, our friend, live via phone. Ron, in all seriousness, if this was Barack Obama, you'd be screaming, "Stormy, stormy, stormy," from the rooftops.
You're too young to understand this excuse. This would be the Sergeant Schultz answer, "I know nothing."
But as the chair of the HISCAC, sir, Homeland Security Governmental Affairs Committee, you could get to the bottom of this, could you not, Ron?
I see nothing. I know nothing. Making radio great again.
Hello, I'm Tom Bennett, President of Teamsters Local 200. In 1903, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters was founded, and our local union was founded in 1935 here in Milwaukee. During the last 115 years, the principles and values for the Teamsters Union have made many improvements for working families, creating a pathway to the American middle class. Teamsters have assisted families and communities in times of need. Currently, our active and retired membership are collectively working to benefit working families across this nation for retirement security and addressing long-term social needs here in Madison, Wisconsin, and in Washington, D.C. American workers do have a voice in the workplace. Let Teamsters Local 200 be part of that action plan for you. For more information, please visit us on Facebook at Teamsters Local 200 or visit our website at www.teamsterslocal200.com or give us a call at 414-771-6363. TeamstersLocal200.com or 414-771-6363.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Ass, grass, or cash. Nobody rides for free. Dom and Crute are the Devil's Advocates.
And we're back. Last segment of the day, 844-967-2789.
Dominic, we got a couple callers, but first, a little bit of sound. Trump in the back of Air Force One. Apparently, he was off script in West Virginia, and then he felt the need to go meet the press in the back seats, the cheap seats. We'd have been in the back seats, Dom.
We'd have been in the cargo hold. What are you talking about?
He had some comments to make about Stormy Daniels. Stormy. Been a few days since I mentioned the porn star, Dom.
See? Welcome home, man. Let's hear it. Sound not great. It is on Air Force One. Here's Donald Trump saying he didn't know nothing. Let's play it, please, Keith.
Mr. President, did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels?
No.
Then why did Michael Cohen make this if there was no truth or allegation?
Well, you have to ask Michael Cohen. Michael's my attorney, and you'll have to ask Michael.
You'll have to ask Michael Cohen. The question, do you know about the payment? No. You'll have to ask Michael Cohen, my attorney. Well, why would he make a $130,000 payment? I guess you'll have to ask him.
Well, my follow-up question would have been, Mr. Trump, are you DD?
Double D.
Double D, David Dennison. Is that you?
Well, that is my porn name.
844-967-2789. Apparently, Stormy Daniels' attorney has now subpoenaed or wants to interview Donald Trump since that statement has been made.
Well, now he's got new evidence to go push for depositions. And let's not forget, we started the show talking about, Republicans and their submissive slaves. Let's not forget that Stormy gave Trump a little paddling. Maybe he's a little submissive himself. Yeah. I wonder if he ever signed one of those contracts.
844-967-2789. Jake from Milwaukee, you're up. What do you got for us today?
Hey, Jake.
Yeah.
Hey, first of all, I want to throw some shade on you guys for ripping on Paul Ryan. Fact is, for an invertebrate and a jellyfish, he has gone farther than any invertebrate or jellyfish has gone in the entire history of this planet.
Well, lots of thoughts and prayers pushing him down the evolutionary cycle, Jake.
Yeah, I actually have a question. More about state-run level Republican stuff. You know, we know there's a blue wave coming. We don't know how big it's going to be, but with the Never Again movement and all these teacher strikes, and I think a lot of people have realized how money works in politics, money and power work together now, like awoke to the idea. I actually kind of started seeing a revolt. I'm not saying revolution, but a revolt against Republican states by the people of that state. What do you think?
No, absolutely. These teacher strikes, be they West Virginia, Kentucky, Oklahoma, well, they're inspiring because you can't cut teacher salaries for a decade straight and think you're going to somehow retain good people. Just like Scott Walker could not villainize teachers in the state of Wisconsin, call them union thugs, and think he was going to retain the best and the brightest. You talk about the brain drain in the state of Wisconsin. I think a lot of the smartest and the brightest, they got the hell out because Scott Walker was the governor.
And of course, then those that are left to suffer from these policies are, of course, the kids, which is super unfortunate. Jake, I'm with you. I think there is some of that going on. Let's get to Paul. You're up. Thanks for calling, Paul. What do you got for us today?
Hey, Wisco Paul.
Hey, you guys are having a great week. I mean, it's totally awesome. I've been laughing all week long. Hey, I got a quick question. Now, all of the GOP owns this Trump dumpster fire, correct? They all own it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. All
they
right.
merged their agendas, Paul.
Okay, that's what I thought. Hey, and like Scott Hole owns these crap roads, correct? He owns them. He can't run away from them, right?
Well, correct? He'd like to sell them off to privateering capitalists, but yeah, currently he owns all those Scott holes out there that you got to dodge every day in the Rambler, I suspect, Paul. I don't know what do you drive, Paul?
Well, right now I'm in a Toyota RAV, so I'm driving a pretty good vehicle. But it's a little spooky because you don't want to wreck your car, so you got to be careful out here.
Well, it depends on where you're at, Paul. Sometimes it's better with a car like that. Perhaps you can ride in the ditch. It won't be as bad as perhaps some of those main roads.
Hey, Paul, last question, buddy. We're almost out of time. You ever read 50 Shades of Grey?
Oh, boy. I'm not even going there. That's
Ever been a sex slave, Paul?
Ever seen a grown man naked, Paul?
Not that I'm aware of.
Ever spend time in a Turkish prison, Paul?
Oh, man.
Thanks, man.
I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, man. Thanks. We appreciate it, Paul.
Wisco, Paul, you picked the wrong day to stop sniffing glue. But the perfect day to call into the Devil's Advocates. This was another fine show. I don't know how we make it better and better each and every day, but it is the political world that we live in. It's like a romance novel meets a Trumpster fire. Want to thank our fine guests today. They included Sarah Godlewski. She is a candidate for Wisconsin State Treasurer. Seems like a sharp lady. We like her. Cathy Myers, candidate Wisconsin 1st Congressional District. A teacher, also a smart lady in her own right. Fans of both of these fine candidates. Sorry, we're out of time. I see more people calling in. Where were you an hour ago?
Hey, tomorrow's Friday. We air grievances. Call us then.
Devil's Advocates calling in tonight. Thank you for listening on Wisconsin's only Resistance Radio Network, 1510 a.m. Milwaukee, 1580 a.m. Columbus, Madison. Do it all again tomorrow. See you on the radio.
Then it came in and out. It came in 3 times, which is in very poor condition.
Scott Walker thinks